Friends, fans, and fine folk, grab your drinks and snacks and come on down to the campfire for this short rest with me and my friend, MrShickadance!
Oh my god. Hello everybody. How's it
Hello!
going?
Hello. How are you
Nice to
doing?
be here. I'm doing fantastic. How are you?
I'm doing very well, thank you. It's turning out to be a nice
Yeah.
morning already, and it's nice to have a sleep in, as it were, because timing wise, with the difference between our time zones, it meant that I got an extra hour in bed than I normally do on a streaming day. So
Nice. And
always
when this is
appreciate
over,
that.
I'm going to go to sleep.
And then
So it
you're
works
going to
out
sleep.
pretty well.
Excellent. Works out
Yeah.
well for both of us. So, welcome in. Welcome to Short Rest. This is a conversation series where we just hang out and chat with people from the community. Let's
Yeah,
begin
thanks
with,
for having
if
me.
anybody's watching who doesn't know you, who never seen you before, give a brief introduction. Who are you?
I got to elevator pitch myself.
Yeah, give my people an elevator
Cool,
pitch so
cool.
that they know where they might have seen you.
Well, you may have seen me on Instagram or TikTok or any sort of short form content stuff.
Mm.
I've been making just small little videos that make me laugh. Hopefully, they make other people laugh because there've been some good feedback. So I've been keep doing them. But yeah, I just make little short form D&D videos. I've been on Twitch on and off for the last 7 or 8 years.
Oh
Making a
wow,
really serious go of it this year.
nice.
Yeah, back in the day, I was with like a group channel. It
Hmm.
was called the Welcome In. It was pretty well done. We had a
Hmm.
really good run of it, but then COVID ended, and we were like, oh, we all got to go back to a real job, so we can't do this full time anymore.
Yeah.
But yeah, I've been around for a while. I've been doing mostly some comedy stuff,
Amazing,
best I can.
amazing. Yeah, that's where I first started seeing you. Just the old Instagram reels,
Yeah.
scrolling past and seeing the comedy things. Yeah, there's so many of that style of comedy that it's hard to stand out. But you were one of the ones that kind of rise to the top of, like, I would pause to actually watch it because I got the impression after a few of them that I was like, oh, this guy's not just going for low hanging fruit. Like, he's not doing repeating the same jokes that everybody else is
Oh,
doing,
you
sort of
haven't
thing.
seen all my hilarious fireball content, my hilarious fireball the room jokes. Got
I
a
mean,
lot of them.
I mean, maybe that's the algorithm doing its wonders of going, like,
Yeah.
let's show him the stuff that's rising to the top, as it were. But yeah, like it definitely came through the algorithm that your content was like, oh, this guy's coming out with some jokes that have not actually been done to death already, and so
Wow.
that's when
I
I
like
first
to hear
started
that.
seeing
Thank
you.
you.
And then we met at Gen Con, I think it was 2024. I think it was Gen
Yes, it
Con,
was
wasn't
very briefly like
it?
the
Very
start playing
briefly, yeah.
party.
Yeah, I think we've crossed
Yeah.
crossed paths at a party. But
Yeah.
that's how a lot of this industry goes. It's like,
Yeah.
hey,
I
I've
was
seen your stuff. Hey, I've
stunned
seen
to
your
see you
stuff as
there.
you're passing.
Yeah, I was like, there's. I was stunned to see you there because I was like, there's no way you came all the way to a different country to be like, hi, I'm here for a con. I'm gonna go home.
Yeah,
But
pretty
it was
much.
cool.
Yeah, pretty much. And I mean, I'd do it again. Like, I love to travel and I love conventions, so I'd definitely be back. But it's just that America is currently sworn off
Yeah.
for obvious
Yeah.
reasons. But
As somebody
I'll be
who
going
lives
to.
here,
Yeah, right.
it's not. Don't come here,
No,
please.
no, I
Just
will.
keep
I will
yourself
not be
safe.
going to the States anytime soon, unfortunately.
Yeah.
But hey, there's conventions elsewhere, and it gives me the opportunity to try out new ones. This year
Yeah.
in 2026, I'll be going to a couple more conventions. I'm going to one in Toronto in August as well.
Nice.
So that'll be pretty fun. I'll be going to the UK in August, I think, as well. Yeah, August this year. So I might be checking out, see if there's anything going on around Europe around the same time. And then, as usual, I
Yeah.
try to go to the Australian convention in Melbourne in October as well. The PAX
Yes.
Australia.
Yeah.
That's always a good
I
one.
just had a few friends go to that this year, and they had a great time. So
PAX is amazing. I love it. I've been
yeah,
there about 4 years in a row now.
that's awesome.
Yeah, it's very good stuff. So for a short rest, because we are short resting around some sort of a campfire or taking a short rest, I like to set up that short rest. What are we doing? You're going to help me DM. You're going to help me set the
Oh,
scene. We must be in the middle of some sort of a quest in which we need a
must
rest.
we be?
I mean, if
Interesting.
we're having a rest, we must be doing something, right? Even if that quest is just moving house or something, which it has been for one of my guests before. They were like, "Ah, we're in the
One
middle of
of
moving
us
house."
One of us is a warlock who spend one spell slot and they're like, hey,
I need a short rest, need a rest. And
I need
the
at
other
least
person,
2
and the other
hours.
one, yeah, you're a warlock and I'm a monk and I've spent one of my key points. I'm
Yes.
like, I need my
I've
key points
stunned
back.
one guy.
I stunned
can't
one
go
guy
anywhere until I have
and you've used one
an
spell
hour.
slot and we're like, we need a rest, guys. We need to sit down.
Yeah. I need snack time. Need some graham crackers. I need to take 5.
Everybody take a breather, and then the
that's-
rogue is like, fuck's sake, again. I don't get anything back from a short rest. I've got no.
You and I
I don't
sat
use
down.
any resources.
There's a third guy who's playing a rogue, and we don't know where he went.
He just disappears off.
He's just gone now.
It's like in the game design for D&D, they went, how can we enforce them to split the party as much as possible? We'll have this one class that's like destined to just always go off scouting ahead and get in trouble, and then we'll make these other guys like only get their shit back on a short rest, so they have to sit down.
I think it's kind of intentional.
I think so.
They were
Yeah.
like, the rogue's the sneaky guy. We got to give him a reason to not want to sit around and do nothing for an hour. He's got to go off on his own.
He's got to just be antsy. Yeah. He's the he's the ADHD class. It's like you can't sit down for an hour.
Yeah.
It should be a feature for the rogue that's like too antsy to sit down.
Yeah, they're like the living id, where it's like, I'm gonna go steal something. I'm gonna go do
you have
that.
to go do stuff at all times. You have to be constantly active. I do have a bunch of homebrewed curses in my games that if they end up touching an item in a hag's hut or something, I can roll on a table of random curses. And then I can roll on like severity level if I want to be really mean or not with it. And one of them is Curse of the Itchy Feet, where it's like you cannot stay still and you have to be using at least 5 feet of your movement every round, or if it really severe ones, it's like you have to use all 30 of your movement every round, and you have to move into spaces that you haven't occupied already that round. So it's like you can't just go in a circle. You have to be constantly moving around a battlefield.
A consequence, or is it just they're incapable?
It's just that
you're
incapable of doing it because until you're no longer cursed. So I think so that it feels almost like the rogues have almost got that sometimes in the games that I play, where it's like, all right, we're having a short rest, and somebody goes, oh, can I go and do something instead? I'm like, we don't have to actually sit here in real time and act out we can just in one sentence say, you have a short rest, now what? And yet they go,
it's been an hour.
Roleplay wise though, I'm thinking about sitting there for an hour and it's horrible, so I'm not going to do it.
Yeah,
just pretend
it's
like
actually hurting me to imagine myself.
Sitting. Yeah. Can I do something with my downtime? Can I learn a language or something?
Yeah.
So whereabouts is this short rest taking place? Are we in a tavern? Are we in a cave? Are we under the sea?
I think we can see the gates of the town we just left. I think we can see we made it maybe 10-15 minutes down the road and we're like,
we just got the quest from the mayor. We've still got it in our hand, the paper that says what we have to do and the gold that we're going to get for it. And we left town, we encountered one bandit. The warlock cast some sort of enchant person or whatever to just get the guy out of the way. We didn't even fight him. I stunned one bandit. You just did. It was an immediate counter, and then went right. Now we're sitting down again.
They put the soup on. Everyone's eating.
I love that.
In realistic short rest ever.
In games, do you tend to have a go-to food and drink that you like to go for, or is it always character dependent?
I feel like I'm a big stew guy when it comes to imagination. I like a big hearty stew that I don't have to physically, but I can just imagine it's warming me passively. That's
especially one of those. What do they call them? An everlasting stew or a forever stew or something like that. It's words to that effect. Where in the old taverns they would just have a massive cauldron. You just keep throwing shit into it, and so it's still got some pheasant in from last week, and somebody has just had chucked in a rabbit, and there's just whatever winter vegetables are still in there.
So weird. People only lived till 30 back then.
Isn't it weird?
They just had 3-week-old pheasant stew, big pot.
That just literally anybody's throwing anything into. Can you imagine the health? I'm sure there's a sketch comedy whole series sketch in there somewhere about health and safety in the Middle Ages. Just some Osher going around to a tavern being like, cool, I'm just going to give you your food safety rating. You've got an open cauldron that literally anybody can throw anything into. Sure, yeah, well, that's an A.
That'd be great, Ren Fair content. Just going around as a health inspector. And be like, really? You're just going to keep the shit out of here? Okay. Mutton on the shelf?
and there was a corpse just outside on the steps. Yeah, that was Dave.
You know the
He
plague's in town, right?
he died of old age. He was 34.
Yeah.
It was
Pour out bottles of hand sanitizer and leave them all over the place.
there was one I think I saw ages ago that was like I think it was like a young couple and they just had a kid and he was like they said something about being in their 20s and then he goes I can't wait to see my kid grow up, and then he turned around and just like scratched himself lightly on a branch and went, oh well. And then it just cuts to his funeral like a week later.
Yeah, little tiny box.
Just absolutely ridiculous how
I would have been one of those kids.
it was just like it's very much a strength in numbers kind of a thing. Just like you have 12 kids because then at least 4 of them are going to make it to adulthood, hopefully.
Yeah, that's where that sort of very, very, very dense family showed up back in the old days because you needed a lot of people to inherit anything.
My gran was one of 13 kids, I think, and my granddad. No, my gran's mum was one of 13, and my granddad's mum was one of 12, and then my granddad only had one sister, and my gran had one sister as well. So that for some reason, like in a single generation, they went from that sort of volume to just being like, we only need one now.
Yeah, actually, my now that I'm thinking about it, my dad is like the youngest of 7, and then he had 2 kids. He's like, I'm good. So it is kind of like, yeah, we did really pull back on that once we started having 7 kids survive to the next generation. We're like, ooh.
It really was like I think it was like almost like a single generation around the early 1900s that where people went, we don't need to be having this many kids anymore. Like,
yeah,
like 2s and 3s is fine now.
We got enough people. We can bring it down to like 7 billion, maybe 6 billion, and we'll be good.
We can afford. That's what always amazes me when people are like complaining about birth rates in country. You know, the birth rate's dropping. I'm like, we're not running out of people. We're fine. We've got enough. We've got plenty spares. We've got.
Idea.
We're not gonna go extinct anytime soon. It's okay for us to drop the birth rate for a while till we can work out all these problems.
A good 70 years in me, so I think I'll be around to possibly see more kids.
All right, so let's begin with the name. Yeah, I know, right? Let's begin with the name. What MrShickadance? Tell me, where's that come from? Why that?
The movie Ace Ventura.
Mm-hmm.
That detective with
the guy he rents from, right?
Yes,
Jim Carrey.
That's his landlord's name. Yeah. His landlord's name is MrShickadance, and I just loved that scene when I was a kid. Watching that scene, he's like, "Oh, hello, Satan," and it's just some old guy who turned out to be the guy in the wheelchair with the bell from Breaking Bad. That's the same actor.
Oh, I knew I recognized him from something. Yeah, because when I looked up MrShickadance, that scene kept coming up, and I was like, "There must be something." And I watched it, and I was like, "Oh, that's his name. That can't be a coincidence."
You get to my face in like a series where it looks like an egg carton. It's just like a bunch of this, really close up shots of my face. Yes, that's my legacy.
So you have it's like always been your online name since watching that scene, or it has some relevance to D&D?
No, that was just the name I went by, and then I started getting into D&D after that point, and I was like, well, hang on a second. I'm not going to change it, because why? Why would I? It's on everything now. Although there are some variations where there's like underscores because somebody else had it on Twitter or whatever, or Instagram. It's fine. Whatever. I can't change.
What at what point did you start getting into D&D stuff? Was it ever like a goal for you, or was it like you're gonna just start doing things that were fun and then it took off?
It was fully an accident. I think I was house sitting for like 2 weeks for my parents, and I was so bored that I just downloaded TikTok and was just like, this is stupid. And I just started making like random videos that it was just me talking about random ideas I had, and one of them caught attention. And I was like, oh, there's a lot of numbers here. Oh, that feels really good.
Now I want more of that. Yeah. Now I've got to chase that high.
Exactly. It was a bad high for like a little bit. Then I pulled it back. I was like, this is unhealthy. So yeah. But it started off just me rambling about ideas I had, and people seemed to like them, so I kept doing it.
Fair enough. Tell me before that, like, how did you even get into TTRPGs in the first place? Where did you get your start?
I trace it all the way back to Rooster Teeth. I don't know if you know them.
I know
The
the
people who made
name.
Red versus Blue back in the day, super big on the internet in America at the very least.
No, they're
Um,
not ringing a bell. Rooster Teeth definitely
you know
rings a bell.
Ruby, the show.
Nope.
It's fine.
I'm
It
I'm
was a
sure some of the
very
audience do.
big online thing for people my age in America at the very least.
Right.
Uh, and they made that Halo show where they were like, Red versus Blue, the two different armies talking. It was pretty funny.
Right.
But
Gotcha.
eventually, down the road of their career, they made a show called Heroes and Halfwits, which was
Oh,
a
that
D&D
sounds familiar.
show. Yeah. I don't know if you know Achievement Hunter. Maybe that's
That also sounds familiar.
no.
All of these things are like peripherally to
I'm
ringing
I'm
bells. They're
grazing the
like,
part of your
yeah,
brain you
you're
forgot
like, I'm
exists.
aware. I'm aware of something that's happening peripherally.
Yeah. But yes, they did a D&D show, and I'd never heard about, or I'd heard about D&D, but like on the periphery. It was
Yeah.
something that nerds did math in a basement somewhere.
Hmm.
And then I watched that, and I was like, oh, this is actually kind of interesting. I want to learn more about this. Then they did a panel, and they talked about the inspirations for their show, which was The Adventure Zone and Critical Role. And I was like, well, what the hell are these? I looked up Critical Role. I blacked out for a week and watched 40 episodes. By the time I woke up, the player's handbook was in front of me. I was like, what's going on? It was intense. And I basically just sat there and watched the show and read the player's handbook while watching the show and just taught myself how to play the game.
Same.
It was fun. It was a fun. It was a
Exactly the
fun
same.
week.
Like, I was one of these.
Yeah.
It's a shame to admit it now, but I was one of the people who were like picking them up in the comments, being like, "Wait, doesn't the spell doesn't work like that?" Because like as I'm watching it, they'd cast a spell, and I'd pause it to be like, "What is that spell?" And I'd look up because I'd have the player's handbook on my lap as I'm watching. I'd be like, "What does that spell do? And how does it work? And how does components work? Oh, so she needs to say these words and blah blah blah, and then this happens."
Mm-hmm.
And then I'd be like, "Go," and I'd be like, "Well, Marisha's doing it wrong, or unless I'm mistaken. What? I don't understand. Don't you have to? Don't you have to? Doesn't it take a minute to cast that?" And all this shit. But
Exactly.
it did help me to learn it. Like I ended up knowing the rules like the back of my hand. I knew it off the top of my head because like I have this capacity for learning lines. I was an actor for a while, and I was just naturally good at
Nice.
like remembering lines. And I kind of treated the player's handbook like a script almost, without even intentionally doing so. I just remember reading the things and learning this, and I ended up like studying for a test essentially, and then boom, I know the
Yeah.
rules.
It was the first time I've ever learned on my own, and I was like, I understand this, and it's fun. It was, a kind of fun experience to learn something I wanted to learn and teach myself something. But not only did I learn how to play the game, I saw like what you said, like the differences in the rules. Like that's not how that spell works. But then I watched, and the story kept going, and the game was still fun for about a demo. I
Yeah.
was like, so this doesn't really matter. It's just kind of the
Yes.
framework that they play in, and that's probably the biggest takeaway from learning in that way.
Mm-hmm.
To be like, I can do whatever I want. These are just like how I get there, and then make the
Yeah.
decision from that point for what makes sense in the moment. And I think that's probably one of the bigger things learning that way does to you, where it's like, I can tweak this. That's fine.
Yeah. Because I think a lot of people have the what could be a problem of just learning from a single actual player, a single source, where they just only
Yeah,
watch one person's stuff and they're like, "Oh, this is the way to play," and then when they start
exactly.
to play with their own friends at home and it doesn't look like that, that's when they get what
Yeah,
people talk about, the Matt Mercer effect and the Sam Riegel effect of like, "Oh, well, my DM's not doing it exactly like Matt Mercer, therefore he's doing it wrong," or "My players aren't being exactly like Sam Riegel, therefore they're doing it wrong," kind of thing. And it's like, yeah, because you've only used one source of what it looks like. You've got one
exactly.
particular swash of red, and you think that's what red is, and you haven't looked at all these other various different shades that red can be. And so when
Exactly.
yours is more of a fuchsia or whatever, you're like, this is completely wrong. This couldn't be more wrong. It's like it's a different shade. Like you're telling a different game with different people. I think one of the
Yeah.
things that I also got similarly was when I was watching Critical Role, Adventure Zone, whatever else. I watched so many and consumed so much that I did get this more varied understanding. And like yourself, I
Yeah.
remember having this revelation of like, this is just a storytelling device. It is just a media. You don't watch a single director's. You don't watch Christopher Nolan and only Christopher Nolan and then say this is how movies are made. Like this is how
Yeah.
he makes his movies. This is how he's telling his stories using his particular medium. Watch this other person's catalog of movies, and you get a completely different take of like what movies can be. Same with
Exactly.
TTRPGs.
It kind of unhooks your mind of like, this is a game and this is the only way to play the game, and it's more like the fifth edition book is like the Unreal Engine 5 for video games. Where
Right.
it's like you can build any game you want with the Unreal Engine, and they're
Yeah.
going to be vastly different depending on how you decide to go about it. This is just a
Exactly.
game engine that you can build off of.
That's a really good
And
analogy. I've never thought about it because a lot of people would also, extend that and be like, because you can theoretically tell sci-fi stories using fifth edition D&D, but
exactly.
it's not the best engine to do so. But you can do it. You can tell Wild Western stories in fifth edition D&D, but like
Yeah.
if that's the system, then yeah, you can make any game you want out of Unreal. But there might be other platforms where it's like, well, yeah, but if you're gonna tell a Lovecraftian horror, you can do it in D&D. Why would you not do it in Call of Cthulhu? That's designed around doing that. Why, if you're gonna tell Wild Western, why not do it in this other system that's designed to tell Wild Western stories?
Yeah. And it's also like you can build a game on Unity. It will be better utilized for that type of game, but it's like I know Unreal Engine 5, I can code
Exactly,
better on
right?
Unreal Engine 5. Yeah,
Exactly,
yeah.
which is why I've always had a problem with people who rag on people for using D. Like, if you want to use D&D and make it a sci-fi, then do it because that's some people. Not everybody has all of the time in the world to be learning an entirely new system, so they already
Exactly.
know D&D and they can go, yeah, I can adapt a crossbow to be a laser gun. Like that's fine.
Yeah. I know what that's going to do to my game if I describe it slightly differently or like
Yeah.
change 1d10 to 1d12. I know how that's going to affect everything downstream,
Yeah, like you
So,
can spend the time to learn a new system that's going to be slightly better or more efficient or whatever to play your particular type of game in, or you can just adapt the
mhm.
one that you already know. So
Yeah.
yeah, I've also never had a problem with people sticking around Wizards of the Coast or D&D content after all of the shit that Wizards of the Coast have done over the last couple of years and made a lot of people
Yeah.
boycott it. The people who go, well, fuck you, because you shouldn't be using Wizards of the Coast stuff anymore. I'm like, not everybody has all the time in the world to be learning new stuff and
Exactly.
moving on to new things, and they can be still enjoying D&D without doing so in a way that Wizards of the Coast are getting any money for it. It's like
Exactly.
they
In
might not
fact,
be buying any of the books. Yeah, most
most
people are buying
people
all their stuff
don't
from third-party content creators, right? Most
exactly.
people are
Most people have never actually given them a
right
dime.
because you can get
That's
you can
probably
get all of the books online. Anybody who has the books can just be handing them out to you or like sharing them for
yeah.
free on D&D Beyond or whatever. You can buy your dice from third-party dice creators
Exactly, and you should honestly.
and you should.
And also, that's not to defend what Wizards of the Coast did. That was a bad
No,
move
God
on
no,
their part. I
God
just
no.
want to
They've
put that
they've
out
been
there.
yeah, and again, like I know enough people have covered it in ad nauseum that we know
Yeah.
that it's Hasbro that's the problem. Like was the people who
Oh
the
yeah, yeah,
creatives
yeah.
at Wizards of the Coast are just as appalled at their shit that happened as the rest of them. It's really
Yeah,
the
I know
higher
many of
ups
them who
and
have left over it. So
exactly, exactly.
yeah,
It's as usual with the fucking cesspit of a world that we live in at some points. It's like it's always comes down to greedy corporate shareholders and money. Like, oh, if we can squeeze something, let's squeeze the life out of this thing in order to earn a few more cents on it.
when I
And
hear the
that's what happened with
CEO be
Hasbro.
like, "I want to put AI in D&D," I'm like, "You stay out of my hobby. You
Yeah,
get the fuck out of here."
you get the
Actually,
fuck out of here.
so
So
gross.
so so D&D was your first TTRPG. You never played anything as a kid.
No, and I'm actually mad that I think I was. Let me do quick math. 24, 25 by the time I started playing TTRPGs, which I was devastated by. I could have used this like 10 years earlier in my life. I would
Right.
have been so much happier. Would have had like a way more fun with my little friend group playing D&D in their house, but
Mate,
I
you and
just
I have got
didn't
such
catch on
such
to
a
it.
lot of overlap in the same way, like in how we
Yeah.
learned. It seems like watching Critical Role with the fucking player's handbook on our laps, all the way down to this same thing of like me discovering D&D when I was in my mid 30s, and then going, well, sorry, it was in my late 20s when I discovered it, and
Yeah,
going, oh man, if I wish I'd known that I was a D&D nerd back when I
exactly.
was a kid. Sure, I would have got bullied for different things, but fuck, it's not like I wasn't getting
Exa-
bullied just because I wasn't doing D&D. At least I would have been getting
Yeah, they
bullied
would
for
have just
something that I fucking loved.
changed targets, They would have hit something else instead of what they already hit.
Yeah,
I
exactly.
would have had more fun with it anyways.
Yeah, it really
But
was. Like I was an actor for many years. In 2016, I did an acting workshop where I discovered a kind of it was a 2-day thing, and after the first day, she gave us like homework to be like, go home and think about when you're happiest acting, and then we'll do an exercise around that tomorrow. And I went home and thought about it. It was the first time I'd been prompted to reflect on it in a few years, and I went,
mhm.
oh fuck. I'm not happy.
Oh
Oh,
my god.
this is not working for me. I'm not enjoying this. The last time I was truly happy acting was when I was like 15 and doing it as amateur dramatics and not getting paid. And I was like James in James and the Giant Peach or whatever. And I was doing like stupid stuff on stage and just enjoying it. And ever since I turned it into a career that I had to focus on and had like goals and networking and all this bullshit, I just haven't
Yeah.
enjoyed it. I'm like, oh damn, that's a realization. And so I decided, fuck it, I'm gonna turn acting into more of a hobby again. I'm going to go back to university and do something academic. And I started
Mhm.
studying mathematics, and at the same time discovered D&D. And for a while, D&D was like, oh, this is kind of scratching the acting itch, which is nice because it's like it's top storytelling, and I get to put on silly voices and stuff as the dungeon master. And then
Yeah.
after the longer it went, the more I realized, oh, it was the other way around. The things I enjoyed about acting were because it was scratching a Dungeons and Dragons itch that I didn't have yet, that I didn't know existed yet. Like
That's a good way to put it.
everything about who I am, my obsession with numbers, my pedantry for rules, my mechanical brain for like balance and mathematics, my
Mhm.
love of storytelling and creative and putting on silly voices and all this stuff. Everything just lends itself towards like you're destined to be a dungeon master, and
Yeah.
and acting was kind of scratching that itch for a while until I realized I'm not enjoying the rest of acting. Oh, I need to find something else, and then I finally discovered D&D and was like, oh, this is what I'm meant to be doing.
That's a that's a great way to put it, honestly, because it's like I felt like I needed to scratch an itch that I'd been chasing, but I didn't realize it was a
Mm,
different thing entirely that I didn't know existed.
right.
That's pretty accurate. Because I was also like, I want to write, but I don't like writing. And then I realized D&D, I don't have to write. I can just the story creates itself with a
Yeah.
group of other people, and it's much better than writing. I want to be
Like,
honest. I
honestly, I can't imagine living in a world where, where I didn't find this. And there's so many people in the world that don't ever
exactly.
find this. They don't ever find the thing that they do. And it's so
Yeah, they don't find their
upsetting.
obsession.
Yeah, they don't find their obsession. That what the thing they're meant for. The thing that is like destined for
Well,
like this is
yeah,
what you're gonna be fun. This is what you're gonna find
obsession's a
the
bad
most.
term, I guess, because I'm not
Eh,
obsessed. It's just I'm happy that I have it, and it's like a
yeah.
thing I go back to all the time, for good, for bad, for whatever. It's just it's there, and I needed it to be there the whole time.
So was there anything like creative styles before you got into this outlet? Like what were you doing before D&D, before turning to a
Honestly,
producer?
no.
No.
Before I started like making videos, before I started actually DMing games, I
Mm,
didn't really have a creative outlet, so that was a big thing for me to have, where I was like, oh, I'm enjoying making stuff, and then I put it in front of people, and they enjoy the thing I make, and they
mm,
make it alongside me, and I was like, I really didn't have any creative ventures outside of that. You know, I had tried my hand at drawing, never really worked out. Like I said, writing never really stuck too
yeah.
long. So I didn't have an outlet until I found out that this is kind of the thing I was always supposed to be doing. Like
Mm.
improv storytelling is
What were you
something that
doing
needs to be.
if it wasn't a creative thing? What were you doing before this stuff's?
Um, I
Just
was just going about my life. Like it was
just
pretty
going
bleak. There
about.
was not there was not a lot of stuff happening in my life before I started like, hitting the creative
Yeah.
beats. I didn't really like do extracurriculars. I tried soccer for a little bit. Again, no. I tried like learning how to play guitar. Not really. So I did kind of need this.
I think it's so vital that people have time to explore that because it's not
Yeah.
always obvious what you want to do. It's one of the things that we ask kids like, oh, what do you want to be when you grow up? What do you want to do? As if they're meant to know at like fucking 6 years old
Yeah.
what their life is going to look like. We are we're so different people. Like every 5 years, we're a different person. It's amazing that we expect to just know at like late teens what you want to be doing at university so that you can then follow everything like you've got your first step of a plan that's going to lead you up to your 70s. Like what the fuck
Yeah.
is what's with that? Why are we not why is
It's
there not more of just like an exploratory period of like, yeah man, take your entire fucking 20s to just like do a
yeah.
whole bunch of stuff and work out what it is you want to do and what you enjoy.
The phrase dystopia does come to mind pretty frequently these days, where I picture myself
Yeah.
being at the end of my college and still not knowing like where I wanted to take this because all I was staring down the barrel of like a 9 to 5 office job,
Yeah.
and I was like, I can't do that the rest of my life. I'll
Yeah.
go insane. So, I mean, COVID was one of the worst things that ever happened to the world. but it did shake some things loose for a lot of people and like
Oh
set
yes,
priorities in a
I
way that's
think
like,
yeah.
okay,
I
things
don't
are
even think
different
it's a
now.
hot take. Like I think COVID was
No, no, no.
one of the best things for a lot of people disguised as a really
Yeah,
shitty thing. Like it came as like a
yeah.
really shitty thing, but I
It was a
think
wake up call for
genuinely
like
it was a
the world.
huge wake up call for for the world, like society as a whole. I think COVID was one of the better things to have happened on like a long term scale. And
Yeah,
I know that I'm not trying to undermine any of the tragedies that
yeah.
a lot
No,
of
I
people
get you. I was
lost a
trying
lot
to
of
work
people.
around that same sort of like
A lot of
phrasing. Be
people,
like,
yeah.
it
No,
wasn't a good thing.
it wasn't a good it
No.
wasn't an all out good thing, but I think a lot of great things can come with shitty things included.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
obviously a lot of
What
people
came
lost a
out
lot
of
of
it
people,
was positive.
but the fact that so many of the people I talk to in creative industries, especially RPG stuff, obviously, the fact that so many of my short rest guests got started because of COVID, like forcing them to do so.
Yeah,
Like they were like, "Oh, I discovered I wasn't happy, or I discovered that my job meant nothing. Like I thought I was in a career that actually
exactly.
meant something, and then I just realized this is all meaningless. Why am I wasting my time doing this when I should be doing something I enjoy? Or I was
Yeah,
forced into having lots of free time, so I started baking, or I started crocheting, or I started this, and I started doing origami. I started just enjoying the things that humans are meant to do, creative
yeah.
artists, art stuff.
It
And
forced
yeah,
capitalism
and I
to take a break
found
so that people could discover their passions and be like, oh, this is what life can be.
it's
Like
why I'm
the world is
such a
bleak. This is
this
happiness
is
for
what
you
it
for
could
a
be.
small window. Yeah,
It's why I'm such a big proponent for universal income, just like basic universal income,
oh
just
yeah,
enough,
God, yeah,
just everybody should just, as a product of being a person, should just be like,
yeah,
here's your basic needs taken care of. You can
yeah.
do more if you want to do more to earn more so that you can have more luxuries. You can do that, but like we don't need to be struggling for the basic shit every day, so that you
Or even
have
like,
time.
here's 2 months, right? Just out of the year. Not even like
Yeah,
universal
exactly.
income
Yeah,
all the time. Here's
exactly.
2 months. Take that for
Yeah, that would
yourself.
be a fantastic start to just be like, look,
Yeah,
you're worried about people just like being lazy and whatever, then fine. Just here's everybody just gets a 2 month window where they don't have to worry about
yeah,
rent and everything, rent and
yeah.
food and bills, and they can just be like, take 2 months every year to just work out what you're happy doing.
Oh,
Work out what you
so
want to be
nice.
spending your time with. And we have the money for it. The money exists in the world. It's just that
Yeah,
those 12 people have all of it.
exactly. Or like the military is
Frustrating.
using it to do terrorists all over the world. Yeah,
Yeah, very much so.
different countries do different things with that money, but yeah,
Yeah. So yeah, I found that I'm so like every day I try to remind myself how lucky I am to have found this calling. And yes, I found it in my late 20s and into my
Mhm.
early 30s that I discovered like what I can be doing. And yeah, I could have found it earlier, but at least I didn't discover it when I was in my 50s. At least I hadn't already had a life and career and then gone, this isn't who I am. This isn't what I want to be doing with my life. At least I found it
Oh
now.
God, I couldn't imagine. Yeah, I would if I woke up in my 50s, be like, actually, D&D sounds kind of cool. I would go insane. I
And
would
be
just
like,
like
why is
become
this?
the Joker the
Oh
next
my god,
day.
I could have been doing this since I was born. This has
Yeah,
existed
somebody
longer than
invent a
I have.
time machine now.
I need to get back. Yeah, so
Yeah,
so you started off just kind of not kind of lost adrift. We're not sure exactly what to do. You found D&D through the what did you call it? The red versus blue and the heroes
Rooster
something
Teeth.
or other?
Yeah, yeah. Well, I
Rooster
found it through
Teeth.
Critical Role, but the way I found Critical Role was through this Red
Right, right,
versus
right.
Blue Rooster Teeth
Gotcha.
pipeline, basically.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
think a friend. I think when I started playing D&D, I found it through. So I was watching Will Wheaton's tabletop series, um,
yeah.
and then he, as part of that, one of the episodes was he played the Dragon Age RPG.
Mhm.
I think I can't remember who was in it, but there was a few very funny comedians and stuff playing along, and it looked like a lot of fun. It was role playing, and I like something tickled my brain of going, I think this is what Dungeons and Dragons is. It was just enough in my in the zeitgeist for me to have peripherally heard of it or known like little things about it. You dress up as
Yeah.
wizards and hit each other with like wooden swords or something in your mum's basement. It is, it's always the butt of the joke in media and stuff. So it was kind of
Yeah.
existed, and I was like, I think this is what Dungeons and Dragons is. I'd recently just met somebody who'd kind of very, very tentatively come out to friends as like a dungeon master. Had been like, yeah, I played
Coming
in,
out as a Dutch.
I played Dungeons and Dragons sort of thing, and it really was like they were real shy to tell us, but everybody was
Well,
supportive,
yeah.
like, oh, that sounds fun. And then it happened to coincide with me watching this Dragon Age thing, and I was like, oh, I got in touch and said, would you run me a game? I'm interested in seeing if this is something I'd like. And then, like you say, blacked out for a couple of weeks, and I had to play Assembler.
Yeah.
Like it was genuinely like fucking. Oh, I've got liquefied dice just in my veins now. The fuck am I? What is this?
Where am I?
Matt
I'm a wizard. Why am I wearing this robe?
Matt Mercer's just dealing you dice or something in an area. Yeah, it was
got like a trench coat on with a
it was very much like that. It was suddenly it took a hold of me.
Yeah.
And I think that's the rest is history, as it were, for as far as I'm concerned. But for you, like how soon into the watching of the things and creating videos before you were like, oh, this is what I want to put my time into?
It was pretty immediate. Like as soon as I had the book, I was like, I'm probably gonna get the other two. Like pretty much had that thought in the back of my head. But I held off hope that I was gonna be able to play and not have to run the game.
Right.
Didn't work out. I did run the game immediately. But I just needed the book to learn like the basic rules, because it's the one I saw them using, and whenever they referenced a rule, they pulled out the player's handbook. So I was like, okay, that's the one I need.
Yeah.
I'll read through that. And I basically taught myself how to play the game. And then right before COVID hit, I learned how to DM. And then I was able to like teach other people how to play when they were getting into it, when they needed that sort of like that escapism, that, that thing to occupy their mind and distract them. I was like, well, I know something that can help. And I was the dealer for a little bit. I was like, hey,
I was gonna, your first one's free, right?
Sheet. Why don't you, grinding up character sheets for people and putting them into a little pipe.
Scraping dusted up character sheet.
It wasn't a huge leap because
mortar and pestle with a dice. Just
you guys bored? Yeah, but it wasn't a huge leap because I already played like Magic the Gathering a little bit with some friends of mine, so I already had that Wizards of the Coast association. It was just like I was looking in the wrong direction.
Right.
Like I still like Magic; it's still fun. I mostly just play Commander, if anyone knows what that is. But
I do now. I just went to a convention in
talk
October,
about
and I only just got explained the whole thing to me. Diana of the Rose was Madaloon and a couple others, and they just got Commander decks.
I think I might have actually.
And they were teaching me what Commander was. How did you get them?
Yeah.
Did you get them? Yeah.
I've been trying to get the entire D&D community in on it. I've never met somebody who likes D&D and isn't immediately obsessed with Commander when they learn what it is. I don't know what it is about the game, but people who play D&D love it.
It was very fun to like watch over their shoulder and learn what they're doing, like reading all the cards and being like, okay, what would they do there? What would I do if that was the situation, etc. Like I've played Magic. I'm technically undefeated in Magic the Gathering, by the way, because I've played twice and I won both games, and so
never play again.
Never played again, because then I can always be undefeated. But Commander was the version where they were like, oh, this is like, it's like the regular game, but it's a different one. It's called Commander. And I was like, all right, tell me. And as soon as they started playing, as you say, don't know what it is, but there was something about it that went, oh, this could hook me more than the other game did. Because I played it and it was like fine, but it was not any better than any other card games, board games, all these other things that I play, tabletop games. It was like, that was fine.
Yeah.
But Commander was like, I could lose a lot of time and money into this, so I'm probably never going to try it for that reason.
That's the drug. It's social. It's a social game more than like Magic is, because Magic, it's one other person and you're just trying to destroy them. But in Commander, there's 4 people and you're like, okay, well, what if we team up on this guy? Or like, there's kind of a narrative you can bake in there. There's like betraying, there's teaming up, there's, screwing over everyone else and becoming the villain. It's a very narrative version of the game that I think it hooks people. And
the mechanics would really grab me as well, like the understanding, oh, this card would work well with this one, so I've got to put these in my deck, and this one would... The one thing that stops me, I think, from getting into Magic in a big way is that it strikes me as a very pay to win kind of a thing. Like, buy the best cards and you've got an advantage.
That is true, but that's why I think Magic or Commander attracts a lot of people, because it is you can only have one of any card in your deck, and there's 100 cards, so the chance of you getting that really powerful card is a little less. Not impossible, but it is. There is a pay-to-win aspect to it, but I find a lot of players just buy precons, play those at conventions, and have good times. So if you're into it, I recommend it. but I'm not going to
So
push
you
anymore.
so you'd played a little Magic. You started getting into D&D. Did you find that you had a bunch of friends that were genuinely like keen to just give it a go immediately, or did you have to kind of persuade them into getting over the stigma of D&D being nerdy maths?
I had a lot of friends who were interested in the concept of being a player. I had no friends who were interested in being a DM, which is, again, I understand. So
Mm-hmm.
I was interested enough in the game as a whole that I was like, I will run it if that's what it takes,
Yeah.
because I'm going crazy in my room alone reading this book without being able to experience the
Uh,
actual game. So I did eventually find enough friends to be like, let's run a little bit of a game, maybe a one shot, maybe it turns into something else. I will run it if I have to. And they were like, yeah, we're good with that. I was like, okay, fuck off.
and was it a thing that it was a one shot that
It
ended
was
up ongoing for
terrible.
6 years, or was
It
it
was
just like,
awful. I was so bad at it. Oh my God. The world was, looking back on it now, I was like, what was I doing? Oh my God.
tell me why?
It
What was so bad about it? Because I think that's sometimes
I
sometimes
just,
something that gets lost when people are getting into it and they're expecting that they're just immediately going to be good at it, and they forget that we all started terribly. We were all
it
making
wasn't that I thought
mistakes.
it was going to be immediately good, but I was like, I was cramming all the ideas I had at once into
Hmm.
every aspect of the world, and I was just drowning myself and everyone else in all my ideas. And the only thing they cared about was their characters. And I was like, you
Hmm.
know what? That actually makes a lot of sense. Why would they give a shit about my ideas? They like their ideas better. I need to, next time I do this, pull back on what I'm doing, like 45%, maybe even
Hmm.
50%. Let them breathe with their characters. And then when they get interested in what is going on around them, I'll start introducing that stuff to them. And it was sort of like that. It was like a success and then a failure and then a success and then a failure and then a success and then a
Hmm.
failure.
Hmm.
That sort of like learning process where it's like
Hmm.
this worked, this didn't. Get rid of what didn't work, or like use it in a different group, different situation. There were a few of those games though. I got to play with a few different groups. That really helped me move things around, get a better, a data set of a larger group
Yeah,
of
yeah, yeah.
people. Um,
Did it start off as mainly just one and done kind of standalone one shots?
the first one was the second time I ran. It was like a campaign where I was like, "We're going to do this as long as we feel like it's viable, and if I say no, we're done. You have to agree with that before you make a character." And they were like,
Right.
"Okay, that's fine. It's
Uh-huh.
totally fair." And I was like, "Good. Okay, we can do this then." That one went for a few months.
Nice.
There were some other ones that just fell apart because, you know, people are people, and
People are people.
there's,
Life gets in the way.
well, yeah, it's scheduling one thing, but then there's some people that are just like, "Oh, you're like this. I didn't know that when
Oh,
we started
right.
playing that you're this kind of person."
Yeah. Okay.
I think, and it was one of those people where it's like we meet at their house every week,
Oof.
so
Yeah.
they felt like they had more control over the game, and I
Mm-hmm.
was like, no, no, no. Uh, there's a lot of that where it's like learning not just the mechanics of the game, but learning that, oh, people play this game. It's not just characters. There's people behind these
Oh, I
characters,
have
and
to put up with people.
some of them suck.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah. Some people
So
suck.
yeah, and if you can't have a conversation, or you try and have that conversation and they're just not receptive,
Hmm.
that you got to just call it quits and either
It's
cut the rope on the bridge and
yeah.
everybody falls, or you guys are just unhappy for the rest of the adventure. So
Same in D&D as it is in life, in relationships. Sometimes it's better to walk
yeah,
away. Sometimes it's okay
yeah,
to just say this isn't working and call it quits.
yeah.
Uh,
Like I tried,
it's,
I had the conversations, I had the very
yep.
difficult conversations, and you didn't want to hear it. So we're gonna
Yep.
we're gonna find a different house to play. Let's put it that way.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. It's all a learning curve. It's all you have to discover these things as you go. You can't expect to just everything to be perfect. You might be lucky. You might get a perfect group the first time, and you just end up playing with that same group without any
yeah,
issues. But other times you'll get problems, and you have to go. All right, let's find different people. Don't swear it off. Don't swear off the entire hobby because you had some bad apples, as it were.
yeah. It's also a very paradoxical game because it's a social game that tends to attract very antisocial people.
Hmm.
And that's not to say, antisocial is a bad thing. I was antisocial when I first started playing, but over time you learn how to deal with people, you kind of get over it. But it does attract a sort of like, I don't talk to people outside of my
Mm-hmm.
house. I only have friends online. I don't
Yeah.
really go out and go to bars or anything like that. Those people tend to flock to this game in droves.
Yeah.
So it is kind of this weird paradox where people who like this game don't tend to know the best ways to talk to other people.
Yeah.
And it does interest me.
Yeah, which is fascinating, and as you say, it is like a self-selecting sort of a thing where there is like a more of an introverted or a more less experienced with people,
Yeah.
less charisma score, perhaps,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
tend to
Maybe
be
a little bit
tend to
low
be
on the
brought towards
wisdom
it.
too.
Yeah, and we are drawn to this game for one reason or another, and forced into situations where we're like, we need to be better at talking to people. The thing that I come back to a million times over, whenever somebody pops into my chat to ask advice or
Mhm.
DN tips and tricks and things, one of the things it boils down to, almost obscenely obscenely much, is talk to your players. You need to communicate this better. Oh,
Yeah.
my player's doing X, Y. Talk to them. I'd really want to. Well, talk to them then.
Way to
I'd
get
prefer
the
it if my good. Well,
okay.
talk to them then. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
I had one of the shots that I had recently that started doing pretty well on YouTube was I've got a series called Hey Rob where people ask me questions. Hey Rob, how do you blah blah blah,
Mhm.
and then I just like take that snippet and put it up on YouTube. Makes for easier content when you can do a stream on Twitch, and then you take that same
Oh yeah.
content to put on YouTube, and then you can take the audio from that, put it on a
That's
podcast.
the formula
It's the formula. So
across
I've
the
got a
board.
series, and one of them that went well was somebody who asked, like, you always say talk to your players as like your go-to advice, but what if I don't know how to, or it's hard, or like I don't want to? I'm like, that's actually genuinely a good question. Like, yeah, I know that I should talk to them, but how do I do that? And the entire shot was like I wasn't talking about TTRPGs. I was just talking about communication advice, basically
Yeah.
things that I've picked up from relationship podcasts, where I'm listening to podcasts about therapy and relationships and how to make
Mhm.
polyamory work and all this, and like those things that I'm picking up from those life skills are applicable to everyday skills of like talking to people and
Yeah.
just communication and how to listen and be receptive and stuff. It can be
I
useful.
genuinely believe that every problem you find at a D&D table can be solved with a conversation, and if it's not solved with a conversation, you got to cut that rope.
Hmm.
You the table's got to change in some
Yeah,
slightly meaningful way if the conversation doesn't work. But the conversation 99% of the time will work
yeah,
because I've
especially because
never
by definition,
yeah.
we're usually playing this with our friends. so,
Yeah,
so
yeah,
they're
exactly.
usually
They're
coming to
friends
the
of yours.
situation. Yeah, they're coming to the same
Yeah.
situation as friends. You want to solve the problem. You both want to be playing this game. So tackle the
Exactly.
problem
And
from the same side of the problem.
I find that even if it's not like friends of yours, if you're experiencing something at the table silently, most often everyone else at the table is experiencing the same thing silently. So
Hmm.
once you give it a voice, everyone else is like, "Oh my god, I've been saying that the
Yeah.
whole time. I just didn't know anyone else felt that way."
Hmm.
So that
And that's
conversation can,
that's another thing that happens again and again throughout
yeah,
life. Like as a maths tutor, I used to have that same thing of like ask the question, because you
yeah,
may think, oh, it's stupid, I'm the only one who doesn't understand this. If you don't understand it, you need to ask the question, because somebody else in the class will also be not understanding it. And it's the same thing with like when people come forward about a person that's been like, oh, I was terrified to come forward because he's famous and like he's got this
yeah,
reputation or whatever. And then as soon as one person does, they're like, oh, floodgates, suddenly everybody's coming forward with their own stories about,
exactly,
yeah, he abused me in the same way or whatever. Like you don't know how many people are silently suffering with the same shit or silently experiencing
exactly.
the same shit as you. We need to be communicating more. We need to be talking more. It's been
Yeah.
shown in studies how bad humans are at reading other humans. Like we all think we are much better at reading people than we are, and we need to be
Especially,
verbally and
yeah,
explicitly communicating more.
yeah. And if you are somebody who is a DM and you find it difficult to have people approach you, then I'm one of those people who are like, if you can't have these conversations, you shouldn't be in charge of a table of people as like the DM, because that is a
Yeah.
position of some sort of leadership. It's not like the
Hmm.
person in charge, you don't have control over the whole table, but it is a
You have
position in which
authority
you're
though.
like,
Yeah.
yeah, or you have like at least a responsibility that you're running the game. You should also be able to manage the table in a certain way. It's
Yeah.
everyone's job, but it's yours more than anyone else's.
Yeah,
Um,
you have a position that automatically lends itself to being more of a mediator,
exactly.
accessible as a mediator of these problems.
Yeah.
So, what? So you started playing. You started running. When? How long into your D&D stuff did you actually get to be a player for the first time?
Um, hang on. Let me check. I think after I ran like 2 games, one of my players was like, I can try my hand at DMing. And they offered like very graciously to let me play and they
Mm-hmm.
take the reins for a little bit. And they did. They ran a campaign for, I want to say, like a few weeks. It was really
Okay.
good. They enjoyed it, but they also were like, they felt like they had too much they were responsible for, which I
Mm-hmm.
get. You know,
Yeah.
they didn't like having to prepare every week. They didn't like
Yeah.
the constant like needing to keep up with everything. So they were like, okay, that was fun. I don't want to do this anymore. And I was like, that's fair. I
I,
enjoyed it.
I, I think it's like I think that everybody who plays should try DMing so that they
Yes,
get, even if they
you're
know they're not
correct.
going to enjoy it, you should try it so that you have an appreciation for how much work goes into it and what the DM is doing every week and what sort
Exactly.
of thing it takes to be, the pressure that it takes to be behind the screen and everybody's looking at you for what happens next in this scene. and
Yes, I
and
genuinely
balancing
believe
the
that
fights
is,
and everything.
even if it's not like within the first year of you playing. I don't care when it is, so long as you do it at some point. I respect you effortlessly. I'll never ask you to be a
Oh yeah.
DM again as long as you do it one time just to
Yes.
see what it's like,
Yeah.
just to get that perspective. Because it's not like you need a year of training. You can do it right now. If you're watching this, you could do it right now. If you aren't doing this, you know why for no reason. But you can do it right now. Just get the book or watch a YouTube video, and then you're
Yeah.
pretty much ready.
Like
It doesn't take that long.
like any of the excuses you'd come up with if I can't do it right now is like I could come up with a counter to it. You don't need anything. You don't even need dice. Google
Yeah.
can roll dice for you. You can get a free dice app on your phone that can roll dice. You can get all of
Exactly.
the rules that you need for free online. You can
And
whatever you need, do it.
here's the thing: if you're gonna ask questions about like how do we do this, how do we do that, we don't. We just lie all the time. We're constantly lying, and no one knows about it, and it's our biggest secret. But nothing that happens behind the screen is happening. It's just all made up bullshit
It's all lies, man.
the
I had
whole
a
time.
I had a session recently that I'll talk about because I don't there's a good chance my players will eventually watch this. I don't think they're watching currently, so I'll get away with it for a while more. But it was like
Edit it out.
it was a huge epic battle, like magic shit happening left and right. They were fighting basically
Yeah.
like huge magic casters from this hobgoblin army that were had been trained from a young age to be magic casters, and because I
Nice.
have done this professionally full time for many years now, I'm at a point way past the 10,000 hours. I counted it up once. I'm way over 20,000 hours playing D&D now at least, and so I've gotten to a point where I can make up a stat block on the fly as it's going and still feel and still make it consistent. Like I know what sort of things it's going to take to, if I want them to do some magical
Exactly.
effect that doesn't necessarily fall into one of the spells as written, it's a new homebrew spell that I'm making up on the spot, but I already know what sort of power level it is and what sort of spell slot I'm going to use for their resources and things. So I'll be like, yeah, I'll mark off a spell slot and he does this thing. It's kind of like a Misty Step, but it does a little bit more, so I'll make it a level above Misty Step. And so a second level spell, it'll do this thing, or a third
Yeah.
level spell, it'll do this thing. And I just make shit up
Okay,
on
you
the
go to
spot.
counter it. Here's
Yeah,
here's how
because
that functions. As well. Yeah, yeah.
exactly. So I know how to balance it on the fly, and so I'm making stuff up. I'm homebrewing spells on the fly because I'm like, oh, it'd be really cool in this moment if I can do this thing or if I can do that thing or whatever. And so
Yeah.
I'm making up a step block, and they have no idea that I'm coming up with it behind the screen as it's
Exactly.
happening. And that's not to say that that I need that level of experience in order to do that. No, you can start by having all of the stat blocks all printed out and you can have them in the monster manual. You can take a second to check everything and its AC is this, so no, that doesn't hit. You can
Yeah.
you can take the time you need to work that stuff with a view that
It's even
eventually,
to,
after you've done it this long, I only have the ability to do this because I've got this much experience doing it.
yeah. It's even down to the point where it's like, I you don't even need to make up new stat blocks for new creatures. If you just physically describe a creature that exists in the book differently, no one will
Yeah,
fucking know.
yeah,
You can use the stat block for 7 different creatures. Just describe how it acts differently. No one will have any
yeah.
fucking clue.
Yeah,
They're so
you've
stupid.
got like a leech slug thing that like goes up your shoulder and like
Exactly.
latches onto your head and eats your brain. Oh, that was an intellect devourer. It didn't look like a brain on legs. It was a slug thing. And then in the
Yeah.
a couple of scenes later, you've got some like some bird of prey vulture thing that swoops down and latches on and like pecks at the back of your skull. Oh, that's an intellect devourer. It was just a bird
But
of
it's got a
prey
fly
that eats your
speed now.
brain.
Fuck off.
Exactly.
It's genius. But it's like once you learn those little tricks from playing for like 2 or 3 sessions, you're like, oh wait, I can just lie to them and they'll have no idea. Oh my god, I'm gonna do that. That's so much easier.
Be- biggest hint I'd say to people is don't ever let them know that you've lied to them. After the game,
That is kind of
don't
key.
tell them.
I kind of just blew the whole game for us.
Yeah,
Now
you
they
kind
might
of
have an
fucked us.
idea.
Kind of fucked us, dude.
They watch this.
This is
Don't
the
tell
rule.
anybody though.
Like, did you not get the document when you got your
sorry.
D&D degree?
I thought it was DMs only on stream. I'm sorry. That was edited.
Yeah, don't. There was a fantastic video a while back, maybe a year or so back, from Expedia Level 3 that I watched about fudging dice, and he was talking about how he never fudges dice, never fudge a dice roll as a DM sort of thing. And as he went, it became much more apparent to me that he was saying, "I never fudge dice."
Yeah. He was lying.
And it's for the same reason of like, it's important to keep up that illusion for the players at the table. It's important for them to know that they had something to trust. That they.
How familiar are you with wrestling?
I used to like wrestling a lot as a kid.
WWE wrestling.
I know, yeah, I know. I was watching back when it was WWF. The Rock and Stone Cold Steve Austin sort of era.
Oh hell yeah, big Hollywood actors now.
Yeah.
There's a term in wrestling called kayfabe. I don't know how familiar you are with that, where it's like we all understand what we're watching isn't real, but
Right.
buying into the illusion is what sells the illusion. It's what makes us all have fun watching the wrestling match where this guy just threw somebody through 3 tables and he's still alive because it's not real. But we all buy into it because it's like fun to be like, oh, he just hit that guy with a chair. That's crazy.
Yeah.
He just
I've
bashed
never
that guy's
understood
head in with
people
his
who
knee.
go, wrestling's not real. I'm like, and yet Transformers is? What do you?
We don't know.
Do you think you're watching?
Might exist.
Do you think you're watching fucking documentaries when you go to see Star Wars?
Listen,
Like, we're okay with buying into fiction. Like, yes, wrestling's fictional. Everybody knows that. You're not getting one over on me by calling that out.
We haven't explored every planet. There might be a Honda Civic on a moon out there somewhere we don't know about.
There may well be.
There might be.
A long time ago in a galaxy far away.
Yeah, the galaxy far away. It never made sense to me. But that kayfabe thing where it's like we all kind of understand that this could be happening.
The buy-in, yeah.
Like it's not real, but we're buying into it. It's kind of the same thing with D&Ds where it's like what he said could be true. He could have rolled a natural 20. He could have rolled a natural 1. He could have rolled a 7. We don't fucking know. But what he said is he rolled a 17 and that hits me. So
Yeah.
I get hit for this amount of damage.
Yeah.
Right? It's when the DMs are like, they change it after the fact. That's when it pisses me off. Where it's like, actually, I rolled a 23. So it just actually does hit you after you use shield. Sorry, I didn't do the math right. It's like fuck off.
Yeah. In that case, I think
Once you,
my advice in regards to like the cheating and the fudging and the stuff like that is like, it's the same with anything. Like, you should know the rules before you break the rules. Like, you have to earn the right to be able to fudge those things and to break those rules, because when you first start playing, you don't know what the balance of the game is. Something that might feel overbalanced, or like, oh, I'm gonna nerf this feature of yours because I don't like it, because you don't understand how it fits in with the wider world. Like, every class in D&D, especially in 5.5 where everything was turned up to 11. Everything has got their one niche where it's like, that is super overpowered. People talk about oh my god, barbarians can do this, or like rogues can do that, or monks can do that. That's way overpowered. And even rangers, like, people shed on rangers all the time because they often just ignore the thing. They ignore the thing that rangers are good at. Like, the thing that they're overpowered at is like the exploration aspect of the game and the like survival aspect of the game, which a lot of people just hand wave. I'm not going to track rations. I'm not going to track exhaustion of overland travel. I'm not going to count out the days or make you explore like different random encounters on the way and things. And it's like, okay, you can hand wave that stuff, but you should know that by doing so, you are nerfing the thing that the Rangers are good at, which is why they come across as shit in the game. If you played a game where you just like hand-waved all combat to be like, you start a fight, I'll roll a single dice to say how it goes. Yeah, it goes well. You move on after the fight. It's like, well, then barbarians would feel like they were a shit class because you're taking away the one thing they're good at. Same with Rangers. Yeah, right?
Yeah.
And so, like, everybody's got their niche that they're overpowered at. So if you're starting the game out fresh and you go, oh, that sounds too much for me, so I'll just nerf it, or I'll roll too high. You've got a 23 armor class. That's ridiculous. So I'm gonna just pretend like I rolled a nat 20 all the time and hit you. you're
Yeah.
ignoring things that you don't necessarily understand about the game yet. I think you have to know the rules before you can break the rules, and then you can understand. Okay, this fight is overpowered. I have gone way too far with my prep for this. They're rolling like garbage today. I'm absolutely steamrolling them, and they're at risk of a TPK. And this was meant to be a random encounter. Let's start nerfing some abilities
Exactly.
and not using some spells that I would have otherwise. And
Yeah, I think that's way more. That's more like where I get to with my dice rolling now, where I've not rolled below a 15 all fucking day. And this is a very important combat, and I'm absolutely dumpstering them. So I'm like, that didn't crit. It missed fully. You escaped me. I don't know how you did that. You're so good. It's like,
I think so many people think of like they hear DM fudging dice and they think upwards. It's like no, the
yeah,
majority of my fudging is downwards. The majority of my fudging is
I am.
oh fuck, I don't want to
I
kill
am
you.
holding back a tidal wave of cosmic justice that is coming down on you. I'm holding it back, and you have no idea. Yeah,
So much of it
crazy.
I'm like trying to just because here's the other thing I always come back to with fudging dice is like it is a tool in my tool belt. It is the tool that I don't use. I just don't need it.
Yeah.
I've got enough experience as a dungeon master that I can rebalance a fight on the fly before it comes down to having to refix the numbers.
Exactly.
I can instead decide, oh, you've got this dragon down to half hit points finally after 3 hours of playing.
Yeah.
When it hits half hit points, it triggers a new phase of the fight where all of its scales start to shed off and its armor class comes down by 3 or whatever. And
Yeah.
you know it's now got extra speed, but it's easier to hit. And I can come up with something on the fly that goes, this is going to help them with the balance that doesn't require me pretending like I rolled something I didn't. Or
Yes.
like, oh,
I think
you lopped off his arm, so he loses one of his multi attack or something. I can, there's other
exactly.
ways to
You
fuck with
just
it.
adjust on the fly. I think the key differentiation between someone who's trying to be a DM and somebody who gets it and who has finally gotten there is you realize that you have infinite power and you rarely ever use any of it. That's what I think makes the good DMs versus like somebody who likes DMing versus like somebody who is a good DM. It's like I can do anything. I never should do anything. Like I should very
Yeah.
rarely ever tap into that infinite power I have to tweak a situation in their favor. That's it.
It's why I like beholders so much as a monster because
Oh,
in the lore for them, it is that they spend
crazy.
every waking minute thinking up contingencies of how they might be fucked over. They think of everything, and so it's the one fight. And I've never actually had the chance to run a proper beholder encounter the way it is meant to be, like a proper arc of a beholder. Because but so much of the big bad guy monsters that are iconic, you don't just throw them in as a random encounter and like, oh, that wasn't as fun. Like it's
Yeah.
got to be the end of an arc. Like the Aboleth is the same. Like you've got to have an entire arc of building up to it. And with the beholder, I've never had a chance to get that far yet, but when I do, eventually, and there's a few beholders in a few different games that I'm running, like ongoing campaigns, so they will eventually get to one. But like when I do, then I
All
can
the things you
finally
run.
go. I can finally go. Take the gloves off. Like like I don't have to
Yeah.
hold back that infinite cosmic DM power because anything that I could do, the beholder has thought of doing. He has prepared for this contingency plan. Any of the metagaming thinking that I'm normally holding back on as a DM, being like, oh, it would be best if he did this, but the hobgoblin wouldn't know that, and so you don't do
Yeah.
it. Whereas a beholder, it's like, no, he would know what is best and he would do it and he would be prepared to do it. And so I can just be like, wham! Just no holds barred.
Exactly.
No pulling
Oh,
punches.
it's with things that are like these alien super intelligences. Like thinking about an elder brain, it's a giant fucking brain. Of course, it's thought about what you're gonna do before you do it. It probably has a plan, but it's like you shouldn't have an ogre do that in like a level 2 fight. It'd be like, I've thought of every possibility, and it just like absolutely kills them in one shot. It's like that's crazy.
Yeah.
Or like they walk out of town at level 1 and then a Tarask falls from space and it's like, what are we doing here? What is this? This is bullshit. That's the kind of thing where it's like you got to keep a lid on that until you earn the beholder fight, and it's like I'm gonna kill everybody in this room and you have to survive me.
Yeah.
That's the part where it's like,
Now I'm ready. I had a video that I filmed years ago that unfortunately all the footage got corrupted, so it just never got put out. And I've ever since, like for years now, I've been like, I'll do that again at some point. And I think I'm getting closer to it. I started talking with some players about it recently, but it was a video comparing the Tarask, like comparing the 5e Tarask to my own homebrewed version, because the Tarask's a level 30 monster, but it's garbage. It's like a joke. Everybody knows that it's the
2024 one. I think they improved it because
they have improved it. Yeah, they've given it actually like something ranged
like a sonic burst. Yeah,
you can no longer kill it with a level 1 arrow cockroach.
It's got like a 300 range like sonic burst weapon. It's crazy. But yeah.
So I filmed this thing back in way before 5.5 was even announced, and it was a Tarask fight with level 20 characters, and then the exact same characters fought my version of the Tarask like back to back so that we could compare them. And in the first one they just took out that Tarask in like 3 rounds, and in mine it was like a proper epic like back and forth fight and things. But it was fun to just go, oh, this is something we haven't needed to build up to. We haven't actually like gotten invested in these characters, but you've got level 20 characters with legendary weapons and stuff. Let's just fight a Tarask. And I think there's a fun one shots to do sometimes where it's like, yeah, superpower, go.
Arenas. Yeah, that's what I did a few of those when what was it called? The Mythos, the Theros book came out for 5A, where it had all those mythic creatures. Me and my friends did a few like one shots where we just tested out how those worked, and
nice.
I'm gonna tell you, level 20 characters, there's not a lot of challenges they can't kill.
Right.
Even with the mythic thing, I was like, this is not going good for me, and I'm trying. So
the thing that annoys me,
to add like additional things in there. Yeah.
The thing that annoys me most about the challenge rating is that at higher levels, like it's numerically calculated around them not having magic items. So like level 20 party with no magic items should find this level 20 challenge rating monster a difficult fight. It's like, well, yeah, but who the hell in the history of Dungeons and Dragons has never had a magic item of any kind by level 20?
Could you imagine playing even for like a few levels and never giving them a magic item? That table would be unruly.
They're just chomping at the bit. You've got so many sketches about like people getting upset about not leveling up in a while. Like, can we level up? Can we level up?
I'd
begging
find, like,
you for
threats
it.
in my mailbox from I guarantee you they'd be like,
give me a magic item already,
motherfucker.
Well, we're level 6 now and we've still not got a magic item. Imagine getting them all the way to level 20.
Rod, you piece of shit.
I just want a bag of holding, man. I'm like, nope, I'm not giving you a bag of holding.
My fucking stuff. I gotta deal with overcapacity, like over-encumbered bullshit because your rules.
You're tracking weighting. You're tracking the weight of coins. Yeah. Encumbrance of everything.
Of coins. What is it, Baldur's Gate?
So after your videos took off and you started immediately invested in this stuff, at what point were you like, let's focus on, because it was TikTok first, like that was your main platform of choice?
Just because I was bored and that was the new thing, and I was just like, oh, this is fun, and I just kept posting there. I didn't even think about Instagram for like years after they got Reels.
Right.
Rails. And I started like just putting on. I just started like whatever I made on TikTok, I would just throw on Instagram. But nowadays it's like Instagram is doing much better than anything on TikTok because America bought TikTok and that's not doing great. So
and TikTok's never really paid anyway, right? It's like it's hard to actually. It does.
Well,
because how does it work? Because I'm like the opposite way around. I started with like YouTube stuff and I've put YouTube shorts up, and then like any of my shorts just kind of sometimes if I remember they go on Instagram Reels, and then if I remember maybe I'll put them on TikTok. But I don't fully get TikTok. TikTok's like somebody was talking to me yesterday and they were like, what platforms? And I was like, Twitch and YouTube mainly for me. Facebook is for old people, TikTok's for young people. I'm too much in the middle to understand either of them. But talk to me about TikTok. How does it actually work? How do you make money off it?
TikTok, it's different because when I started off, they had different rules than they have now. And back then, it was like based on how much, how many views, how much engagement your videos get, they'll give you a certain amount of money, which wasn't awful. It was, from what I was getting, I'd be like, oh, $45 every 2 months. That's not nothing. Yeah. It's,
it's, maybe it pays for like a night out. Yeah, exactly. It pays for a dinner. Yeah.
Especially during COVID, I was like, I'm not going anywhere. I can get an extra burrito today. But it was at a certain point, I think it was 2023, and like the first day of the year, they changed it so that only videos over 1 minute long get monetized, and that killed a bunch of people's revenue because they were like 30 seconds were the really viral videos, and
because they were like. Because it was like, that's the opposite, isn't it? Like TikTok initially was like favoring you have to make videos under a minute.
Yeah, and that took a lot of money away from a lot of people. But I was making
Jesus.
minute and a half long videos. I was like, this is awesome. I love
Haha,
this.
winning.
Uh, yeah, and they again, it was paying fine. I think my biggest payout was like $200 or something, and then I had
Mm.
one that made like 1,000, and I was like, oh, I'll never do that again. But
What?
that's cool. And then it went right back down. I think Instagram only pays you if you also post on Facebook, and I'm not doing that. So I've
Right.
never made a dime from Instagram.
Yeah, I've never
Uh,
made any money from Instagram or TikTok. I make
yeah,
like from everything on YouTube, I get like $200 a month or something. So like YouTube is the
not
least
bad.
of my revenue, but it's money.
Yeah, it's the most consistent though. I think
Yeah.
if you post consistently, YouTube is going to treat you the best out of everyone else.
Do you find, because I spoke with the Legends of Adventurous guys a while back now, so I don't know if it's changed
Nice.
much or if you have a different experience, but like they said that the audiences are very different in how loyal they are to like following you elsewhere as well. Like TikTok, they said anybody who's following on TikTok is only using TikTok. Like that's their only platform. They're not going to you like you can be putting TikToks out saying I'm on this thing or I'm doing this thing and check out my YouTube stream or whatever, and they just won't do it. Is that your experience as well, or have you found a lot of growth on other platforms because of your TikTok audience?
Nah, TikTok is pretty insular. If someone finds you on there, they need to see you like 4 or 5 times before they go, I'll follow this guy.
Right.
It's not like an immediate, I liked that video. This is now a person I check in on every once in a while.
Yeah.
They need to see you regularly before they're like, okay, you've earned my attention. It's kind of like a cat. TikTok's kind of like having a cat, where
Right.
it's like, okay, you've earned the right to speak to me, and then they'll follow you. And
Right.
also, the comments are fucking unhinged. The
Okay.
media literacy on Instagram is non-existent. I'll tell you, or not on Instagram, on TikTok. It's
Right.
non-existent. Those people don't know what they're watching half the time. Because I'll talk about some D&D thing, and then I'll get 5,000 people saying that's not the rules. It's like I don't fucking care. It's one of those things where it's like I interpreted the rules differently than you. That's okay. We
Yeah,
can
that's
keep
okay.
moving.
Yeah, but hey,
Yeah,
it's
but
engagement,
it's
right?
like, yeah,
That's what the
it,
video's about.
well, yeah. It's engagement until I start arguing with other people who are like well-meaning in my comments, and I'm like, okay, I'm gonna
Right.
block this guy so he
Yeah.
can't comment on anything anymore.
Yeah,
Um,
I had a great video that I watched recently from Matt Colville that talked about like how
oh,
you
love
need
Matt
you
Carville.
need to like cultivate your community. Like he is in the even as big as he is in the comments on his YouTube videos, being like, nope, delete, block. He's
Yeah,
like, it's important. Like
you
people
need to
talk about
curate that
YouTube being
shit.
a cesspool of like, oh, the comment section on YouTube. It's only a cesspool if you're not putting the work into to go, hey, this is not okay here, and
Yeah,
and allowing the good people who are going to take that fight for you as well when you're not able to handle all those comments. There are going to be people who go, hey, no, not okay, we don't do that
yeah.
here, we don't talk about that, use
I mean,
nicer words.
I can't speak much to YouTube because I only have a very small window into that. I ran like an actual play series on there that did okay because it had Zach in it, Zach the Bold. And our comments were pretty much positive from what I was experiencing. But I'm sure you have a wider width of YouTube comments with the Viva La Dirt League channel. I'm sure
Yeah,
there's
I
like
mean,
nightmare situations in there.
not so bad again because we try to cultivate as best as we can. So like we've got a decent community. Like generally, as YouTube comments go, our comment section's pretty good. Like we've got
Yeah,
Viva does have quite a conservative audience on the whole, which means that any time that we do put out anything woke, quote unquote, by which I mean just reminding them that non-cis cis het white males exist in the world. Suddenly,
the world
it's
doesn't
like,
look like me. Fuck
like
that,
I
dude.
literally had in one of the episodes of the Adventures of Azrim series. There was a section where one of them they met a princess and she said something about my fathers will hear about this, and one of the characters, one of the main guys at the table,
There
went,
an S at the end of that?
right?
That kind of shit. Yeah.
One of the characters at the table went, fathers, and she went, yes, and he goes, oh. And one of the other guys went, is that okay, Ben? And he goes, yeah, it's just not every day you hear somebody say fathers, but I was just confirming, and that was it. Moved on. And then the comments were like, oh, you gone woke, fucking blah, blah, blah. I'm like, people exist outside of you. So that those comments can sometimes get bad when there's like anything that's... I mentioned at one point they met an NPC that they said, they called him he to somebody, and the guy interrupted and said, I use they. And that was it. And it was like, oh, fucking they's not a pronoun, blah, blah, blah. I don't do pronouns. I'm like, you just used one. The word I is a pronoun, dickhead.
You've got
So-
Ben Shapiro viewers in your comments.
So there are sometimes those, but on the whole, very lovely comments. Most of the comments are positive about
Yeah.
like, oh, I love this stuff, and like I can't wait for more, blah blah blah. So
That's
yeah,
most
we
people
try
tend
our
to
best
focus on
to
you know.
upvote the good ones, delete or downvote the bad ones.
I found like one out of every 100 comments on any platform is going to be negative, regardless of the platform, just because that's how people are.
It's how people are. Yeah.
But the important part is not focus on the bad ones because
Mm-hmm.
it is the minority of comments, unless the video itself is like outrageous or
Yeah.
like very designed to like rage bait people.
Yeah.
That's when it's like fighting in the comments or that kind of shit. But for the most part, I haven't. I know like 10 years ago, YouTube comments were, you know, it was a roll of the dice anytime you posted a video on that site. But
Mm-hmm.
I feel like nowadays it's pretty normal.
So you started TikTok, then you eventually went Instagram. You started putting stuff up on YouTube as well. Were you starting
Yeah.
on Twitch at the same time, or were you like where
So I
when was
think
the Twitch beginnings?
it was like a few months after COVID started. Me and a few friends who I met from doing TikTok stuff started a Twitch channel called The Welcome In, where it was just like we streamed games we played. We had like 2 running campaigns, and then we did like one shots here and there. And it did well for the majority of COVID, and then real life started to go back to normal after like 2 or 3 years.
Mm-hmm.
We were like, hey, my job is calling us back into the office. I can't be home every day. I can't, give my weekends over to this because I kind of need my
Yeah.
weekends to go out and do stuff in the real world. So we started to like slowly peter out and be like, okay, we're gonna stop doing this. This was fun for the time of doing it. If we ever get the time back, we'll come back to it.
Yeah.
I don't know if we ever will because again, life has changed so much for
Life.
everybody since COVID.
Yeah.
But I'm just starting off doing like my own Twitch channel now
Mm-hmm.
because I've been just neglecting that side of things for so long, and I'm like, I want to live stream again. Live streaming's fun. Like, look at this. This is
It is.
enjoyable.
Yeah, it's fun. I enjoy it. Like yesterday, my Spanish tutor. I'm going to Peru later this year for D&D stuff, so I'm learning Spanish.
Nice.
And my Spanish teacher asked me, "What do you prefer making videos for YouTube or streaming?" And I learned to say like, "Oh, there's some good things in both," and I was trying to say that live streaming gives you a much more community feel. Like you feel like you're connected to the people you're telling stories for and the people who are enjoying you.
Mhm.
Like I'm in this incredibly lucky and very rare position of paying my mortgage through Dungeons and Dragons. Like how bizarre is that?
That's
A
awesome.
few years ago, imagine like doing full time work as like my full time living is Dungeons and Dragons. What kind of bizarre situation is this? But like,
That's so
I do this
crazy.
because like a significant portion of my income comes from the donations and subs and bits and support that Twitch gives me. The Twitch audience gives me, and so I like that about live streaming because I get to have connection with the people who are like straight up paying my wage, as it were, and
Paying your bills.
exactly, and yet the YouTube stuff comes with the added benefit of going. I can take my own time to decide when I feel like editing this
Yeah.
video and when I need to put it out, and then once it's out forever and can constantly just be like people can watch it at any point. I still get video comments on videos from like years ago where people have gone back and started watching these things and go, "Oh wow, look at Baby Rob doing interviews with these people or whatever." And there's a benefit to YouTube of like once it's done, it's done. Whereas on Twitch, I'm only earning
Yeah.
once I'm active. Like if I take 2 weeks off, I get no money that those 2 weeks. So
Yeah.
there's definite pulls to both.
But you would enjoy doing this more than doing like the YouTube video stuff.
I enjoy both for different. I think with me being because I have ADHD and I think that doing any
Nice.
one thing I would be like I can't do this forever. It's like you were saying
It's a
before about the
concert.
9 to 5 job and stuff. Like I'm
Yeah.
autistic as well, so like the 9 to 5 has an appeal of like, oh good, routine. And then
Yeah.
I want routine without monotony. So there's always a balance
Yeah.
between the ADHD
That's
and the
life.
autism. That's like
Yeah.
I want something to be like predictable and routine but not monotonous. And so I consider myself a Dungeons and Dragons variety streamer where I do several different streams a week. I'll do short rest like this, and then I'll do Robert Reads where I'm reading something, Sherlock Holmes book or like a player's handbook when that comes out, whatever. I'll do behind the screens where I watch the latest episode of the Viva campaign and like do like a director's commentary sort of thing where I stop and talk about what could have gone differently. I do Twitch Tales, where it's like interactive D&D, where the people in the chat are hive mind controlling the main actions of the character.
Yes, I've
so
seen
it
those.
allows me to have like a routine, like week to week. Mondays I stream this, Tuesdays I stream this, while still having variety to it, and then having the
So it's kind of
YouTube
like
stuff.
modular.
Yeah, kind of, yeah. It's like modular. I can go,
Yeah.
I want to stream. I'm not in the mood to do world building. Let's do a downtime stream where I just play video games.
Yeah.
And then the YouTube stuff, again, adds a little bit more variety to it of like, I can, when I'm sick of doing live stuff, in my calendar I've got it set as RHGM on work and RHGM off work. Like, this is in my calendar as on work because I have to be on. This is, hello everybody, this is my face, this is my mask, this is my performance.
We're faking it right now.
And then off work is like editing. So like if I feel like I need to be working but I don't want to be doing on work, I can be doing finances and editing and YouTube things instead.
That's good, because it really does take a concert of both to do either these days, where you have to do a little bit of, that editory, like I'm going to post a video here later, such and such a date, that will bring people into the stream. And then while I'm streaming, I can tell people to go check out the video I made. And it's sort of like this dance that people do back and forth, which it works if you're into that kind of stuff. And if you don't want to do both, then it kind of, you have to pick one and really stick to it. So it's good that you find a way that works for you and you enjoy doing it. You make it work.
And I think it also is sort of future-proofing as well, because we all know too many people who had all of their eggs in the Twitter basket before it got bought out by a Nazi, and like suddenly it became X and a completely different thing, and like it was the entire platform changed overnight, and so many people who had huge audiences on Twitter were like, well, fuck, I got to start again now.
Here now.
I saw so many people popping up on Instagram. Right?
Yeah.
I saw so many people popping up on Instagram trying to make content and things, and going like, I've got to start again from scratch with no audience, and trying my best to like pull people over from this old thing. And I think having all of these different platforms and being on YouTube and Twitch and Patreon and Instagram and stuff just allows me to go, if any one of these things collapses overnight, I'm not immediately screwed.
Yeah. That was a big thing with Vine too back in the day. I watched that, not being a creator. I was like, oh, these people are all fucked. And I saw a lot of them jump to YouTube. Like a few of the creators I still watch to this day, they jumped to YouTube. They were very successful. Yeah. But a few of them didn't have any exit plans, and they were like, I've never heard from them again after that. And I felt that as a creator later on, looking back and going, I can't be a Vine person. I can't have that happen to me at this point. I've got to diversify a little bit if I want to keep doing this. Because if TikTok does get banned, like the 30 times it was threatened to get banned in America, it was like, fuck. I lose a big library of stuff I've built. That sucks. But yeah.
Tell me on the topic of sort of diversifying and branching out from short form into long form. Tell me about Chaos Theory, your actual play.
Chaos Theory, yes. Chaos Theory was a great idea I had for a campaign that only took place in one city. That was a dream I had, to just like build a city that could fill an entire campaign. And it was kind of like a noir detective in a fantasy world, where it's like people always complain that you can't do those types of stories because you can talk to the dead, you can look into the past, you can bring people back to life. There's all these like different roadblocks. And I just wanted to show that, like, no, you can do it. You can easily do it. Just because you can ask any question doesn't mean you know which question to ask. So you gotta
the thing you're asking knows the answer, or exactly. It just adds more mystery to it. Like,
if someone gets stabbed in the back, they didn't say who did it, so they can't tell you.
I used to really like the show Pushing Daisies, which was the premise was a guy can touch a dead body and bring them back to life for 1 minute, and then he has to touch them again and kill them. Otherwise, if they stay alive longer than a minute, somebody else dies, because there's like a balance. And I think it was a brilliant idea, because he became like an investigator who would go and talk to people who'd been murdered and go, hey, did you see who murdered you? No, sorry, they attacked me from behind. Shit, I got nothing. Yeah,
that was a good show.
Yeah, it was.
Also, he had like a love interest where he touched her, brought her back to life, so he could never touch her again, otherwise she would die again.
Had to kiss through like cellophane and stuff.
Yeah, it was an interesting show. I like that idea.
Yeah.
But it is kind of like that sort of thing, except more like a little bit more noir, a little bit more. I was very inspired by. I don't know if you've watched Arcane on Netflix,
Yes, yeah,
but that sort of
loved it.
like world aesthetic. I love that, like kind of arcano punk tech
Right, yeah.
stuff. I'm obsessed with that. So that's what a lot of it was based on. We went for I think 20 episodes, 25 episodes, something like that. Uh,
25, I think it was. I checked yesterday because I
yeah,
was checking out what other stuff you'd done that I hadn't seen before.
yeah. We paused on the production of it for multiple different reasons. Two reasons mainly. One, the cast was impossible to keep like consistent because they're just so fucking busy. Like all those people are great and they're very busy getting pulled in different directions.
Yeah,
And I fully get it. The other thing is I was doing every aspect of the show by myself, and that became untenable.
yeah.
Like I was doing all the production on the show, like editing the video, putting it on stream, and like broadcasting it on stream and uploading it to YouTube. I was also post processing the audio version of the podcast, which I decided in my brilliant mind to fully edit 5 different audio tracks manually every week. It was not good. Learning experience. We talked about it earlier. We're learning.
Yeah, learning.
But yeah, that show currently is on hiatus. I don't know when it's coming back. I hope it eventually does, have a little bit of a chance to come back into the limelight. But I'm still pretty happy with the first season. I think it's a good story in and of itself. It did end on a cliffhanger because I'm very dramatic and I
All
love my
stories do.
cliffhangers. But yeah, he's a very fun story. And I do still love the setting and the idea of like running an entire campaign in just one city, because D&D is a game about traveling and like
Yeah,
going from place to place and finding these weird, bizarre things. And it's like, okay, well, what if a story needs to exist where you can walk into every building in a city and the entire story has to take place within the walls or the boundaries of this place? You have to make it interesting enough
did you have
to do that for
the
20
city
levels.
mapped out? Like, did you
Yes.
have like an idea of exact districts and things that were there, so that you didn't have to like if somebody did just walk into a random building, like you knew what was there, sort of thing.
Well, it's kind of like the thing we were talking about earlier, where it's a lot of improv. But
Yeah.
there was also like I had been designing this city for like 3 or 4 years
Wow.
with this concept eventually in
Yeah.
mind. So every district was like its own little mini city that you could like probably spend, you know, hours in.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I always got obsessed with like I want to just stay in one place and do the whole campaign.
Yeah. Because
I thought it was
it's
fun.
in a similar way. So a good friend of mine, Vahid, who runs a actual play series called Dice Legends here in New Zealand. He's down in Christchurch.
I remember
And
them. Yeah.
you know Dice Legends, real good
Yeah.
guys. They're real great content creators, but again struggling with like oversaturation in the market and like trying to find a
Oh
way
yeah.
to actually make it work, and the production value of like doing in-person produced studio D&D is just like there's so much cost to it.
Yeah.
So, but he had a world, has a world that's where again like the entire campaign takes place in like a single city, as like they're all town guards at the very beginning, and then they get fired for
Yeah.
whatever reason, and then they go through. But his is like a low level thing. He much prefers low level D&D and stops by around like level 6-7 maybe, because like it's low magic setting, it's more realistic, like there's genuine danger as soon as somebody gets past level 7. You can fall out of a plane and survive the fall because you've got hit points so
Yeah.
ridiculously high, and you've got also high magic and things. And so his campaigns similar in that they're set in one place, one city, but his does by necessity kind of stop by 7, because as you say, it's kind of an interesting challenge to go, how does a city have something that can challenge level 13 characters? How does the city have,
Exactly.
like, the very next week after they've dealt with this level 13 character and they've leveled up, now there's a level 14 monster in the rampaging the city? Like, what are they dealing with now?
Or like what does a D&D city look like when the camera swings away to follow the adventuring party somewhere else? What does this city do on a regular basis when no one's there to watch it? And that was just sort of the concept that kept rattling around in my brain, and I was like, I want to do that. How do you have a guard system that can deal with somebody who can wish for things to be different than they currently
Yeah.
are? How does
Yeah.
that exist? How do you logically like put that together?
The,
Those are the
the
concepts that
implications
keep me
of
awake.
the implications of magic existing is something that I find just it's a bottomless well of inspiration, because you can always look at just some other spell and go, this spell exists in the game, and it's only a second level spell, which means that any third level or higher spellcaster can cast it. Anyone with the meta magic feat might be able to, whatever. And so you go, okay, how many people in the world could cast this spell theoretically? That's a lot of people. All right, so what would that mean for the infrastructure? What would that mean for services? How much would people be charging to cast this spell on somebody else's behalf? How much would how would law enforcement deal with somebody who can cast this spell and this? And I think it's fantastic inspiration for world building to really get your creative juices going into like, what is it? And it's why I get so frustrated when people are so dismissive and hand wavy about things. Like if you ask these questions and you're trying to engage in this kind of conversation, and people go, "Oh, it's a world of fantasy." You're pulling up the minutiae of how magic. It's just put it down to magic. Like that's so lazy and boring. That's so lazy and boring. Think through, think through what's going to happen with all of this stuff.
The idea of a world where most people, just statistically speaking, from what's in the books and what's available in like racial abilities, most people in the world have access to at least a cantrip, which is huge. Think about that. Prestidigitation on like 90% of the population would be
I'm gonna shit this guy's
for
pants.
everything.
Okay,
Exactly.
I think about that all the time.
God, my
You're gonna
fucking worst video of all time. The video I'm known most for on Instagram.
Yeah. It's no, genuinely, like, because people, like, the question comes up all the time. People are like, oh, if magic was real, like, what spell would you take? And some people are like, firebolt or whatever. I'm like, how often do you have opportunities to burn someone alive?
Someone say Eldritch Blast one time. I was like, you're a murderer.
You're a fucking psycho.
Like, you want a gun?
Yeah, essentially that exists. Good.
So
like
funny.
like mending. Just imagine the world building implications of like, even a tenth of the population having access to the mending cantrip.
Tailors are out of jobs the next day.
Immediately.
You can just fix the seam by going, and then the seam is
like,
fixed, or like a document's repaired.
Those stalls in the center of like malls, like those little like phone repair kiosks. Those kiosks, you'd be like, phone repair while you wait. Just give me your phone.
Apple out of business.
Yeah, you just go,
Just
fix your
fixing
screen.
iPhones
1 minute of $20. $20, fix your screen.
You still charge people even though it's just like hand waving.
Yeah, I mean,
really
you gotta,
funny.
it's your time. You gotta make a business out of it.
And
Yeah,
then you
go.
get someone
Whatever.
who's like, "Are you
It's a
kidding me? The guy
donation
around the
box.
corner charges $15. That's bullshit.
Well, go to him then.
It's like, well, go to
Oh,
him then.
his line's around the block. Exactly, because it takes a
Yeah.
minute to cast, and he's got 300 people waiting for him. So
Time is money.
time
Yeah.
is money, pay. You just got a donation box, whatever it's worth to you. Put some money in there, and I'll fix you, whatever.
But that's like the small little tweaks that just set my mind on fire, and I love that.
I think it's what sets like an interesting world apart as well. When you start watching a new actual play, you want to see what is that one grabbing point. What's the thing that's going to set this actual play aside from a million others that I'm watching? As long as it's got good audio quality, so people will actually stick with it, because that's the
That
one
was
thing
why
that
I
people
had
will
5
not.
audio tracks I did it because I was like, I need good audio quality. You don't know.
Yeah. As long as it's got that, so people will stick around. I think the next thing is like, is the world interesting? Is it got something in it that like, is it clear that the dungeon master has put thought into the implications of the things that are happening in the world? And like, other players having fun with each other, is there good banter, that sort of things. I think the things that are most important.
One of my favorite things is like we're talking about like how magic changes a world. My favorite thing is how death changes a world. Like how thin that veil is and how easy it is to pass fundamentally changes any world you put the players in.
Right.
So coming up with like different unique rules for how death works in worlds, that's something that fascinates me.
Yeah, how common is resurrection magic? Like, is it common enough that every farmer's heard of it and know that it's an ability? Do they have it to fall back on? Does everybody in the world have like a life insurance that's essentially just a 300-piece gold diamond, 300 gold piece diamond or something that's like, use this in case of emergency, revivify?
Yeah.
Does everybody? Yeah, does everybody just have one of
like,
those around the house? Like,
Mom got cubic zirconium. He's gonna come back all fucked up.
He's suddenly half back. Yeah, like the implicate, like there's you can, as I say, you could literally open up the spell page and just like pop, and then just grab up and be like acid splash. What is the implications of somebody being able to? I mean, really? Yeah, you go like, what's the implications of there being Tensor's floating disk? What does that mean? What would a world where that's a possible thing to do, what would that mean?
One of my, I think it was one of the ones I've had the most back and forth about in my comments, was I said that if you use the spell suggestion to tell somebody else to kill a different person,
Yeah, I watched that
that
one.
technically works.
Yeah,
So you can just, they're not putting themselves in harm's way. They're hurting somebody
yeah,
else, and you can just do that, and they're compelled to go murder somebody, and you just get
Mm-hmm.
to leave. Like that existing in a world is crazy. The
yeah,
implications of that are crazy, and that's like what, a second level spell, first level spell, something like
yep.
that.
And it's because I think through shit like that that like I have content, like I will, like, because of that sort of thing, I will build in my games. There's a faction called the Arcanists Entente, which is just like a bunch of wizards that are essentially, one of their many jobs is to look out for that sort of stuff, and they are often called
Yeah,
to crime scenes where somebody is going, I swear I wasn't meant to do it, I was mind controlled to do it, and then they have magical
exactly.
ways of going, all right, it's like a post hoc detect magic spells and things that they've got, or like rituals they can cast to say, like, divination spells to ask, is this guy telling the truth, and all this,
Yeah,
because there would need to be, in a world where this shit happens, there'd need to be that stuff. The economy is
exactly.
another one that, like, in a world where you can transmogrify a stone into an elephant and then turn that elephant into a gold statue, like, oh well, now that much gold exists in the world, like,
Exactly.
what happens to the economy? And so again, the Arcanist Entente and the Artisanal Alliance as well, like, they work together to be like, let's keep the market fair, let's keep things from getting flooded. If somebody's using a shit ton of if, like, they keep a track of if somebody is stockpiling diamonds, because they're like, this person's
Hmm.
trying to flood, like, trying to prevent the magic, for the resurrection magics and stuff, because diamonds are important in this, or they're preparing to do something that's going to require a shit ton of greater restorations, and so the magical wizard detectives essentially keep a track of that sort of shit.
Yeah,
And I love that
that's one
stuff.
of. It's also fun to play around with that stuff of like not just like mechanically how do the diamonds and the money make sense, but also like how does society view resurrection magic?
Hmm.
Because if people don't like it, or it's like maybe this is how it worked in my setting with the detective stuff, it was illegal to
Mm.
do any sort of resurrection magic. The players could still do it,
Yeah,
but it was against the law. So if
yeah.
they were brought back to life or somebody came back to life, there was going to be questions like, "What the fuck? This guy died. How what's going on here?" And one of like the first sessions, one of our players did necromancy, and I was like, "Okay, you that's illegal." So
Same
it
in
was
my
just
world.
really
Like,
funny.
necromancy is illegal, and I made all healing magic necromancy, because it makes sense
Necromancy,
that it is.
nice.
Like, it's the manipulation of life
Yeah,
and death energy and stuff, and so all healing magic is necromancy, and all necromancy is illegal. But because healing is something that society is like, oh, that's a good thing, we do need healers. There's like special
yeah,
certification essentially that you can go through to say, to essentially prove yourself trustworthy and say, I'm a healer, I'm a cleric. Yes, I'm
yeah,
technically doing necromantic magic, but I'm only going to use it to heal people. And it's like a medical certificate, or like practicing, like a doctor practicing medicine. You have to have
exactly.
you have to be certified. So in my games, like, healers who are just able to do it from level 1 have to be very careful doing it, because otherwise some
Yeah,
law enforcement might be like, yo, show me your
unless they
papers.
get certified.
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah, and my favorite thing, even with those systems, it's like people could still like in that society view people who do healing magic as like still practicing with
Mm.
untoward forces or like
This is
pushing the boundary on.
unnatural. Yeah,
It's like, yeah, you shouldn't be doing all that even if you are certified. I don't like it. Like
yeah.
they can still have that justification because the world does have a history with this sort of magic, and I don't know, that kind of stuff. I love world building from that lens. And people just hand wave that shit away. It fucking pisses me off sometimes. I'm
It
like,
just
your
makes
world
for,
is less interesting because you didn't think
yeah,
about it.
yeah, right. It just kind of makes for boring situations. Maybe they're just like, it doesn't interest me, and I'm more interested in, like, coming up with a cool stat block for my
Yeah,
monster and having fights. And it's like, fine,
I
that's your
get
game.
that.
You do what you need.
Different games for different people, but like, I don't
Which
know.
is why
If
it's
you could
important
build a
to
world you live in,
it's important to, like, to shop around, as it were, with your games. Like, when you're playing games, if you find that it's
mm,
just not your game, because you'd be much more interested in a game that's all combat, and you're not interested in exploring all the world building that the DM's doing, then fair enough. Go
yeah,
find a table that works for you. It's perfectly fine. So you say you're trying to focus on your own Twitch more this year. That's going to be one of the goals, to try and
yeah.
build that up a bit.
I'm actually talking about world building. Next week, I'm going to start building a. I've never run a West Marches campaign, and I've always really kind of wanted to.
All right.
One of the things to try out at least this year or sometime soon.
Cool.
So I'm going to start building that world on stream next week.
Hell yeah.
Help motivate me to do that. So just sit down and focus on something for like 3 hours.
The link is on screen if you're watching. You can see the link tree
Oh,
to MrShickadance, but you can also see I
thank
think
you.
it should be rotating with Nightbot as well. If I was to do this short rest,
I appreciate that.
as well.
You want to see
Then
me
there's
build a
the
world that's
links there
like,
too.
yeah, it's basically the concept is if Monster Hunter meets Arc Raiders, those two games sort of
All
like
right. Yeah.
combined.
Nice.
I don't know. We were talking about exploration earlier, and that's something I really wanted to dig into with a setting. So hopefully,
Yeah. And is it going to be like the world's kind of forgotten everything around it, like West Matches, where you've got to discover the map around, or is it going to be a world where people already know an idea
like
of what's going on?
it's kind of like an expedition to explore a new continent.
Right. Nice.
It's going to be like a set up little base, and then from there, the players are going to go out and explore these different areas and like complete quests that then further the expansion of whatever.
And everybody's gonna get dysentery. And
yeah, everyone's gonna die of dysentery.
Everybody's
on the Oregon Trail.
Gonna run out of you're gonna run out of bison or whatever.
yeah. You didn't hunt enough magic bison, so now you all die.
you have to eat shoe leather. There's some transmutation spells to like turn your shoes into edible rations.
Yeah, they all forgot how to cast create food and water, so they die on the trail.
Magical
spells too, and just hand wavy bullshit from the game itself.
Magical continent exploration.
Yeah, you'll get crackers and cheese from your spells.
So what's the what's the view to future goals? Like you're exploring this world building of this new thing so that you can run a West Matches. And what else? What else is on the horizon for you?
I'm hoping to get into more like, kind of like this, make more connections with other creators. Like I was lucky enough to talk to you and get on, appear on here and just have this conversation with you. I've already done like 3 or 4 different conversation type things this year, and it just started, so that's kind of cool. I don't think I'll ever do another like AP that's streamed, because that is a nightmare. And I don't know if it's worth the nightmare. But I would probably like to do one that's like edited a little bit more heavily. And I would love to do a studio thing. But like you said, the money is just fucking insane.
Yeah. Yeah, you got to have a lot of backing. Like, thankfully with Viva, they had their main audience was their comedy sketch series on YouTube that they do. Like, that's got millions of subscribers, and that's the vast majority of their income comes from their the stuff that comes from their 3-minute comedy skits. And then luckily they went, oh, let's try Dungeons and Dragons, and they put it out on the main channel. People who loved it really loved it, but the people who were expecting like 3-minute comedy sketches were like, what the fuck is this? We don't like this. And so they were like, yeah, let's start a new second channel for it so we don't tank our own algorithm. And then smart. The second channel is supported by the first channel. They have the income to make a production studio where we can actually do stuff at the table, which is fantastic. And it's another reason I count my lucky stars that I'm in the position I'm in, because I get to do studio work with them. But
there's a huge studio market.
It is a lot of expenses to make a studio actual play.
Especially out here on the East Coast, where all the studios for that kind of stuff are on the West Coast in LA. And that's where like all the friends I have who do this kind of thing are out in LA, and I'm like, well, I'm kind of alone on an island over here. What the hell? But they're all doing great stuff, so I'm happy for them. I just gotta either find a way over there, or hopefully don't have to go over there because I fucking hate LA. But hopefully start something over here with a few friends, and maybe build a little East Coast D&D studio scene.
Yeah, maybe. Maybe you can be the change you want to see in the world.
Fucking, I hope I can afford the change I see in the world. That's the big hurdle. But that's like a next 5-year goal, maybe. We'll see. But that's what the future's looking towards.
Is that the sort of thing you want to be doing? Can you see yourself doing this like the rest of your life? Is this like a thing you want to be doing, or something adjacent? Yeah. Easily.
I could not see myself, because I do have a full-time job. I'm not doing content creation full-time. I work 9 to 5, which is, what I was doing before I got on this call.
What sort of industry are you in?
It's insurance. It's American insurance. It's not good. It's very, very bleak. Every
It's
day it's bleak over here. But
yeah.
I can't see myself doing that forever. So hopefully, eventually,
Hmm.
I'll be able to do this full time in some
Yeah.
capacity, whatever that looks like. But
Yeah.
that's fun.
Is there like a goal to build towards where you've told yourself, once I get here I quit the job? Like, is there like a specific thing, or is it just kind of a take it
No,
as it comes?
because from everything I've heard, e- every creator who's ever made that jump says it's always like a leap of faith. So there's
Hmm.
never like a set amount that's like, okay, now I can quit my job. But it's always
Hmm.
like at a certain point, I felt as though I can quit my job. So I don't know when that's going to be. I'm sure I'll feel it when I get there, but we'll see what happens.
For me,
I don't feel it yet.
I was at university studying mathematics again because I'd gone back to be like not feeling acting, and I discovered D&D the same time I went back to university. So over the 3.5 years of my degree, my
Mhm.
D&D stuff took off, and I met Viva and started working with them in like the last 6 months or so. And so I had an audience starting to clamor for, oh, do you stream on Twitch? And I was like, what the hell's Twitch? And they were like, you should stream stuff. And I was like, I don't do
Yeah.
art, or I don't do video games. And they're like, no, it's a platform for anything. And I started looking into it. I was like, maybe I can do something. Maybe there's something there. And
There
and
you go.
and then I graduated, and COVID hit, and I was like, I'm kind of Rob Van Dam spreading splits over two trains here. I've got a degree in applied mathematics that could go somewhere
Yeah.
somewhere that could actually be useful and reliable, and I've got
Eh.
my foot on this D&D train that's like, can I make it work? I've already kind of taken this leap once with acting and being a creative then, and my brother was like, stay on the maths train, it's more reliable. And I was like, thank you for the push. I'm going to D&D. I look
Yeah.
at I look at the life you have, and how much you just focus on work so that you can provide for your family, and the work is just nothing to you. I'm like, I have no interest in starting a family and having kids of
Oh,
my own, so like I don't want to be like focusing on, I have to do this
amen,
thing that I
brother.
hate in order to earn money to pay for some, like, no. Thank you for
Yeah.
thank you for letting me know what you would do, so that I know that's not my decision. And I focused on the D&D, and I was like, let's see if I can make this work. And I went in with like a, okay, if I need more money, I can pay for, I can have paid games with my fans. I could put out this. I could ask my friends if they have anybody that wants to run D&D, that I can do paid DMing for them, and I could do this and this and
Mhm.
this if I need to. And thankfully I didn't have to do all of my backup plans, because the Twitch took off in a big way, and suddenly I'm earning
Yeah.
enough to pay the bills and things. And then your means, you live to your means. Like, I've lived much of my life as a student, having an acting degree and a maths degree, like a lot of
Yeah.
and then several years in between as a working actor, where it's like,
Oh, yeah.
in other words for unemployed. And so I've been very good at budgeting. And so when this started taking off, I was just like, cool, I'm still living on 2-minute noodles, but I'm no stranger to it. And then,
Yeah.
little by little, it increases to the point where you go, oh, I can actually think about putting money away for a house. And then a
Put
few
some
years
chicken
ago,
in
I
these
bought this.
noodles.
Yeah, exactly. I can afford meat now. And then with the cost of living crisis, back to being like, oh, can barely afford cheese. But that's more of a
The
commentary
rich
on
man
the price of
sells
commentary
cheese.
on the price of shit, rather than how much money I'm earning.
Yeah. That's awesome. So you didn't have like a moment where you're like, I can make this jump. You're like, if I need to, I can work like double down on this side, but I feel
Yeah,
confident to make that shit.
I,
That's
I,
good.
I was at a point where I was like, I can tell I've got an audience now, that because I remember the first time it happened. It was absolutely bizarre that somebody from Estonia found me on Facebook so that they could message me and say how much they'd enjoyed the Descent into Avernus actual play that I ran with Viva. And I was like,
Wow.
this guy's gone out of his way to find a complete stranger just so that he can say, I really enjoyed that story you told. And it hit me like, oh man, there's something here. Like, I've got something. All of my various different skills and talents and natural abilities and trained abilities of my entire life has focused towards me being good at this thing that I do. good to a point where
being good for that guy
yeah, to good for
from
that for
yeah.
what he want, and I'm like, oh, I can make this work. I'm sure I can make this work. I started streaming, and my first stream had like, I can't remember, 30 plus 30 to 60 viewers or something, which
That's
most people
crazy.
start streaming with like nobody and have to work their
Empty
way
room.
up. But I had,
Yeah.
thankfully, a jumping off platform from Viva. Like I
Yeah.
didn't I still did the work to build that up, but I built it up on different places in different areas through Dungeons and Dragons with friends, and then through with the Viva guys, and then finally I got the audience to then switch over to Twitch and had an audience here. And so I made affiliate within a week. I made partner within 9 months, and I was like,
Wow.
"This is," and I was like, "Okay,
That's
this
awesome.
is something I can do," and thankfully I never had to fall back on all of those many possible backup plans of like, if I need more money, if I'm struggling to pay the bills and my mortgage and stuff, then I can haul myself out as much as needed.
Well, if anything, those plans have only gotten more strong as backup options with the audience you've grown
Exactly,
in the
because
community.
I've got a
right
much
now.
larger audience. If something goes drastically wrong, I can go right. I'm doing DM. I'm doing DM for hire stuff. First come, first served. Hit me up on Patreon or whatever, and
That's awesome.
you've got games. So let's start asking some of the questions that have come in from the audience, shall we? If you guys have any questions, if you've asked anything that we seem to have missed, I do tend to focus my attention on my guest while I'm doing these short rests. But if you want to ask questions in a way that aren't missed, then you can use your channel points to redeem those questions, which some people have done, and we'll ask them as they come in. So we have a question here from Tina Madrid, who says, what is a sketch that you were surprised did as well that it did?
Weirdly enough, I did one about Five Nights at Freddy's, just because I was thinking about it at the time, and it actually did pretty well.
Right.
But the one I'm surprised did as well as it did is probably the one that it's my most popular video on Instagram, or it's the one about shitting the guy's pants. That still is like my most liked video daily on my notifications. I'm like, what? You guys gotta stop watching that video at some point.
Never.
You gotta stop. Actually, the funniest part about that video is right when I posted it, like the first day I posted it, I got a comment from a guy who's like, you gotta be careful. I made this joke once, and now everyone calls me the shit guy. And I was like, I don't know. And it's still my most like well-performing video. It's
Mr. Shittapants. I mean, it's
Mr.
right
Shit My Pants. Yeah, that was what they
Shitpants.
called me. I spelt my name wrong actually when I first made my account. It was supposed to be Mr.
It's
Shit My
meant
Pants.
to Mr. Shit My Pants. Mr. Shit That Guy's Pants. The one that got me as well was the magic mouth on the guy's cashier cash register, because he wouldn't give him a one gold discount on a wine skin or something. It's like giving it, so he just casts magic mouth that goes blah 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 every time he opens his cash register, scaring off all his customers.
This is all shit I've wanted to do in games, and I'm just never a player, so I'm like, fuck it, I'll make videos about it.
And then the thing that got me most about that was like in the, because when you cast it, I'm like, all right, I can let it go for the sake of the joke, but casting magic mouth is like 10 gold piece component and then sure enough you address it, you're like, you know that cost you 10 gold piece worth of jade in order to cast that? And he goes, yeah. And he goes, in order to get a 1 gold discount. Yeah, but the message was priceless. There's a few that you like, you put a little
bullshit.
And it's the sort of thing that I think stands out, because there's so many people who make D&D content that I can't possibly keep track of everybody or follow everybody and watch their stuff. But like when I do tend to find somebody that I go, oh, that's fun, like that, give them a follow or whatever, it tends to be because they've put that little extra effort into making sure that they are putting like a button on the end of the joke that's not just a single joke and then there's nothing else, or it's clear they've put a little thought into like, you know, what actually, you know, the rules of it, the actually that sort of thing. And I go, oh, they've put the thought into the joke. Yeah, what's the first comment going to be? They've already thought about
that first comment coming in and be like, you got this wrong, you dumbass. I'm like, fuck.
It's one of the things that I adore about Zach the Bold's content as well. I've had the opportunity to cross paths with him at Gen Con as well. But yeah, his content is so far beyond anything that I've seen before that I'm like, oh, this is a new fresh joke on the take, and it's refreshing to see.
I will say this about Zach. the single most deserving success I've ever seen out of
Right.
a creator.
Just came
He's
from poof. I saw him just like take off with like,
yeah,
oh, this
not
guy's
just the
fun, and he had like
intelligence.
20,000, and then like next time I saw a video from him, he had like 70,000, and the next time I
Yeah,
see him,
then
I'm
the
like,
next
oh
time you saw him,
shit.
he was on Critical Role. It's like, oh cool, nice guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, but he's just also like the sweetest human being because
Yeah, he came
I
across that
did
way
get to
when I
hang
met
out
him.
with him at PAX Unplugged again recently.
Right.
He's just genuinely the nicest person. So again, not just production value, not just like insanely smart content, but he just deserves success. He's a good person.
Nice. Good to hear.
Anyways,
Yeah, I like the your videos that have like a button at the end that's often just like a single. It often makes me crack up when it just ends with the DM just like a silence and then goes, "Fuck you." I just like I need better friends. It's just something that's like
yeah.
this guy. It reminds you like it's like in the headcanon it's the same DM against the same shithead player every single time.
A lot of people don't get that.
Let's see. Next question we got from also from Tina said, "What's your favorite TTRPG or board game?"
Favorite TTRPG or board game? Let me think. I don't know any.
Let's go.
TTRPGs.
Let's go. Both of those. I favorite TTRPG. I mean, it would have to be D&D. Outside of 5e.
I mean, outside of 5e, I've always thought Pathfinder was a little probably better than 5e. I've been able to run it once or twice. I've never been able to play it because no one wants to learn Pathfinder 2e.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I think that one has a little bit more crunch to it, and I've always wanted to explore that.
Yeah.
But again, I don't get to play many TTRPGs.
I'm a major crunch guy. I love mechanics and crunch to a system, and I've got a really good friend, Dead Aussie Gamer, who sort of rebranded himself ages ago, but he used to be called Ask a Pathfinder because he's a Pathfinder GM and he knows everything about Pathfinder. And there's always like a running rivalry that he and I fight over which is the better system, but everybody knows that I genuinely believe that Pathfinder is probably as good, if not better, a system. It's crunchy. It's crunchy enough that you can always find a rule for what you want it to do, but you don't have to use those rules. You can just as easily handwave some stuff and make it simple and rules light by ignoring rules to your leisure. But at least the rules exist for those who want them.
Not only that, but it's also it's much better supported than Dungeons and Dragons is. They put out content for that game all the time.
Yeah.
There's like so many books that are just like, here's 3 new classes, 1,000 new magic items, feats, mechanic systems for all this different shit.
Yeah. Paizo also strike me as a lot less money grabby and money hungry. Like all of the player's handbook for Pathfinder is just like, yeah, it's free. Here you go. A bunch of their content is like, here's new stuff. Yeah, here's new stuff. You can have it for free.
Yeah, I love it.
I
think the company's good. I think Pathfinder is probably better, but again, I don't have as much time with it as I do with D&D.
Yeah. So. Have you played any one-page RPGs or real short ones, real short TTRPGs? Have you played any like Honey Heist?
I think I played Honey Heist once. We were stealing like honey from a summer camp or something. That was fun.
Yeah, I think that's gonna be fun.
I think a lot of those one-page RPGs are interesting. I don't think it's clearly like a party game version of like a TTRPG where you're not going to run a whole campaign.
Yeah.
For Honey Heist, you might run like 5 sessions and they'd be like, okay, that was fun.
Yeah.
Let's play something else.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, those are fun.
They're designed that way. How about board game? What's your favorite board game?
Board game. What is the one where you build that haunted house? House on the Hill? Hill House? Haunting of Hill House?
Betrayal House on the Hill. Yeah.
Yeah, that one. I would probably say is my
That's
favorite.
a good call, actually. I played that recently
It's fun.
For New Year's, and it was a lot of fun. It's I hadn't played it in years, and so I'd kind of forgotten about it, but I really enjoyed it. We had enough time that night to play it twice, and one of the things I love about it is its replayability, because it's like you're creating, as you say, you're creating the rooms tile by tile, exploring what the place is going to be looking like.
Yeah.
And then
the haunt is always different.
As you're finding these different locations, there's more and more of a chance that the haunt starts. And when the haunt starts, it's like, cool, what tile were you on when the haunt started, and which character did it? Therefore, reference this, and so it's going to be a completely different thing. And okay, you've got the werewolf scenario where somebody's going to be chasing you down, or you've got the whatever, you don't even know which one of you is the bad guy, and it's a very different game. So,
Yeah,
good
they
call.
always lying to each other in these board games.
Jay Platypus asks, what are your favorite characters or classes to play and why?
I always gravitate towards Bard
Yeah.
just because I like to talk. You know me. Um, but also I like I'm always a support player in basically anything I do.
Hmm.
And I like that the Bard has like that unique mechanic of Bardic Inspiration that is a support that most classes just don't have.
Right.
Like they can also heal, they can also like
Yeah.
buff and do all this stuff, but the Bardic Inspiration is like very unique and it's very
Hmm.
fun. But I also like to talk,
Like to be a
so
face.
you know.
Like to be the face of the party. Yeah,
Yes,
I do like a bard. I tend to gravitate towards wizards, rogues, and monks. I think are my main ones. I
love a good
all of them.
wizard.
Yeah.
Love a good wizard.
Whenever I'm a wizard, I tend to give myself like the restriction of only a particular type of spell, like whether that's like a school of magic where I'm only going to take transmutation spells and just focus
Yeah.
on that, or whether it's like a uh, not necessarily a school but like an effect, like I'm going to
Mhm.
focus only on this kind of magic, and then that's like I'm a wizard who's specialist in this, and then people are like,
Yeah.
can't you do this thing? You're a wizard. I'm like, yeah, but it's like going to an engineer and saying, you're an engineer, you should be able to do this. And he's like, yeah, but I'm a civic engineer, or I'm a whatever. I'm not completely different. I'm a different
I work
specialist.
on planes. This is a boat.
Yeah, different,
Yeah.
completely different thing. I don't know what I'm doing here. Yeah, I
Yeah.
like gravitating towards like giving myself a specific
Specialization.
restriction. Even in other things as
Yeah.
well, like in rogues or whatever, I'll be like, oh, I'm not going to take sneak. I'm not going to take stealth and sleight of hand stuff. I'm going to be a mastermind who's more about. What's the guy from Game of Thrones? That's the
Oh, the
bald
Littlefinger?
eunuch. No, the bald eunuch
Oh,
guy
the
who's
spider.
like he's got a web and kind
The
of like
spider.
yeah, I think it is the spider, something like that. Well,
I don't
he's
know his actual name.
the that I've got a rogue character that was kind of like that, where I give him a whole bunch of like insight and persuasion and stuff, and he was roguish, but he just knew a lot of people. He had a lot of criminal contacts and things.
He was
So
socially
like,
stealthy. I like
yeah,
that.
I like to give like
Varys.
a restriction to Varys. Thank you. Yes.
Thank you, Chad.
What else we got? We got a question from Tina here. What is your favorite spell in D&D?
Scatter.
Either homebrew or rules as written. Scatter is a
A
fantastic
scatter.
spell. I do love that one.
Scatter's so slept on. People need to wake up to scatter. It's so good,
Do
especially if
you
you're a DM.
do you use it offensively or like strategically? Do you like to
That's
scatter
beautiful.
your own
One of
people
my favorite.
to where they need to be?
I've never been able to pull this off, so no one steal it from me or use it if you want to. But I have a situation where like you walk up to the warden of a prison in this room filled with jail cells, and he starts the fight off by scattering them into cages. And even if half the party succeeds, half of them are in cages, the rest are out on the battlefield.
Yeah,
What are they gonna
yeah.
do?
You've got locked jail cells, and he's like, bam, you're already in
Yeah.
there. I
For those
used
of you who
that.
don't know.
I used that for in one of the it was the isolation games. So we started the D&D channel for Viva. We filmed the first table session of the actual play in person around the table the day before we were meant to film the green screen stuff for it, because for our actual play we do cutaways of the stuff that happens at the table. The day before we were filming the green screen, we went into COVID lockdown. So we're like, oh shit, we've got this new channel that we've been hyping up and we've got no content to put out for it. Oh god. And so we did this like online Roll20 game instead that we called the Isolation Games. And I just threw that together real quick. But in the final fight of that, they're fighting in like a town square, and there's a whole bunch of like cultists and stuff. And one person just used scatter and just moved 5 of the cultists up onto the roofs of the surrounding buildings. And we're like, cool, you're regular humans and you're on top of a roof now. You got no way. You were all melee fighters. You were all running towards us with weapons drawn, and you don't have ranged weapons. And now you're on a roof. What are you gonna do? Like I've taken out 5
It's so
people.
good. So for those of you who don't know, scatter basically you can reposition 5 people on the battlefield, and there's a saving throw involved if it's not voluntary.
Yeah.
But it's just so useful for a DM to have that, to be able to like either take the tanks and put them away and then bring the healers up close, or to just like line
Just
the party up.
swap
if they're
them
gonna do, like, a
around
lightning
essentially
bolt.
as well. Like, bam, wizard is right next to me, barbarian is over there.
You just throw a flashbang into your players' actual faces and then change the battlefield all around, and they're like, okay, well now you're here. It's
Setting them
awesome
up for a lightning bolt I haven't thought of before, but yeah, that would also be useful, because those things are always like disappointing, that you can be like, I guess I can get 2 people
Yeah,
in it.
I can't get
You're
all
like,
of you. And then you
I
just
want-
have a wizard line everybody
Go
up, and then the dragon
bam.
lightning breath just kill everybody in a line. It's great.
A player tried to use it in a game against me just the other day. With they were fighting. It was this hobgoblin thing that they were doing, and some of them had like sticky bombs essentially that were meant to be siege weapons. They throw them at the wall of a castle and it explodes. And instead, he just threw one at the hobgoblin and all this. And so they ended up with like these bombs on the battlefield. One of them wasn't quite in range, but they still need to be triggered. So they were like, all right, on my say so, hit it with a firebolt and it explodes. So the sorcerer runs in, like right next to the bomb, and he casts Scatter to try and grab 4 of the hobgoblins and himself. He was going to scatter himself way back and put 4 hobgoblins right next to the bomb, and then somebody would hit it. What he didn't think through, though, was that they're all spellcasters. So as soon as he did that, bam, counterspell. And he went,
That's brilliant.
Shit. And now he's standing next to the bomb and none of them are. And they went, boom. so like his entire plan. No, he didn't. He managed to survive it. They were level 13, so they've got ridiculous high hit points. But he did go down like 3 times in that fight. He went down at one. It was one of those amazing moments where the hobgoblin goes like, "The fuck is happening?" Because he got hit, and he's a shadow sorcerer, and he has some ability with that's like you can make a charisma save to not go down to 0. So he goes down to 1 instead because he made his charisma save. And then he hits him with a multi-attack and he goes down again, but he's also got a level in Warlock where he's taken a couple levels in Warlock where he's taken the invocation that's, I can't remember what it's called, but it's the tome one where you can write people's name in it. And the first time that that they go down to 0, it's kind of basically a death ward, but written in a book. And so he went down with his charisma thing and got back up, and then he went down with the book and got back up, and they're like, what the fuck? And then the next round, somebody else knocked him out with something else, and somebody hit him with a healing word. So it was a very yo-yo fight for him.
Hilarious.
But it was very funny that he was like, haha, I've got a plan. Runs in right next to the bomb, tries to scatter them, counterspell, shit, I'm right next to the bomb now.
That's so funny.
Cinderfingers asks, do you prefer tall, towering cities or sprawling single-story cities in your games?
Tall spire cities, I think.
Yeah,
because that means more wizards. That means more magic. If the buildings are tall, that means there's magic involved, because they gotta be magic if they're tall. Otherwise, those things will start to crush.
Yeah, they don't have the engineering, the engineering to work out how to make massive skyscrapers back in high fantasy Middle Ages, essentially. So you got magic holding it up, which means that you can dispel that magic and suddenly buildings can come down. It also gives you that vibe of like the Judge Dredd kind of world where you've got those massive like cities of like an entire city is just in one building.
Oh yeah, they don't seem to end.
There's all sorts of levels on them.
Like a bottom.
Yeah, those things can be fun.
Those are all very interesting. But yeah, definitely tall cities over flat cities.
I think you can get away with having like more of a variety in districts if you've got a more sprawling thing that's like, oh, this city spreads over 6 miles, and so like you found this district over here that's much more desert-like, and this one over here is like up in the foothills of the mountains and stuff.
It's got like peaks and valleys for a city. That's crazy.
Yeah,
love that.
Let's see. Meta asks, what's your favorite class as a player?
I think bards
would be
probably top of the list. Barbarians are close second.
What's your favorite class to run for as a dungeon master? When somebody goes, I'm playing a
warlocks,
because you
gotta be warlocks. I love being a patron.
It's great, isn't it? It gives you so much. It gives you so much.
Kill that
flavor.
guy. Kill that guy, or I don't give you spells today.
It gives you so much flavor to go. Oh, who are they? Because often Warlock players will be like, oh, I've got amnesia around why I made the deal, or I can't really fully remember what it is, but I woke up with powers one day. And you go, ooh, tasty. I can decide exactly
My
what
favorite
that
question
is
to ask every Warlock player is your relationship antagonistic? And if it's not, how is it not? Because it doesn't have to be.
No.
But if it's not, there has to be a reason. Otherwise, it's antagonistic.
You know? What are you doing actively each day to keep this relationship from becoming antagonistic?
Otherwise, your patron's going to be like an older brother running in your room, and be like, "What's up, idiot?" Smacking stuff out of your hand.
I have a warlock that has an archfey patron, and he created this the merry gentleman, and the merry gentleman just became this incredibly iconic sort of NPC character. So much so that I've ended up like cosplaying him and stuff, and I've got statues that I think if I move this, maybe you can just seeing there. The Merry Gentleman's like a carved statue that one of my fans and mods made for me of the Merry Gentleman and stuff. He's a pretty big deal in my world, and he just came out of
Awesome.
a Warlock character, just being like, yeah, I've got an Archfey patron. I don't know much about him. I see him in various different forms all the time, but he's always wearing a green suit that seems like it's made out of plant material, and he's wearing a brown hat, and that's all. And I'm like, cool. And suddenly from there, everything starts falling into place. You've got all sorts of ideas, and then you get the idea of like the one time he's seen him outside of a green suit, he was in a red suit, and he was like, what the fuck, why is he in red now? And it's so
He can't bleed.
and it threw him so much, and the merry gentleman, who is always like merry and happy and chipper and whatever, and like he's obviously got shit going on in the background, but you don't know what because he's got this merry face on. He came up to him fucking furious and said, I thought I told you very explicitly what I needed you to do, and you're here wasting time in this part of the world instead of over here. And he fucking backhanded one of the fighter. The fighter who's like the tank of the group came up and was like, you don't talk to us like... And he didn't look at him, he just went, BAM! And I went, he rolls this, you take... how many hit points have you got? Yep, you're down to 0. Dead. He knocks you to 0, but you are stable. Like he can manipulate... in his own damage in such a way that it was non-lethal, essentially. Whack right across the face, backhand, not breaking icons. And they were like, that's the first time we've ever seen. And fucking patrons, man, you can just be like, what's going on there?
You could, especially if you like earned it, like that definitely seems like an earned moment because he's shown up so many times, and this time it's like, oh, something's different, and you just backhand somebody into a tree, and they're like, oh shit, that's
who have I made a deal with here?
Yeah, the alarms are going off in everyone's brains, and you can like physically see it. I love that shit.
The next time they ended up getting waylaid another way and going off on another side tangent, and so they kept the whole time they were like, we've got to finish this quick because otherwise MG's going to turn up and he's going to be even more angry, and we've got to finish this and blah blah blah. And then the guy who was playing the Warlock, he just dropped out of the campaign, just kind of fell off the face of the earth sort of guy, and it was unfortunate because we wanted to carry on that particular campaign. So the next session I just had a fairy turn up in the middle of the snowy mountains, and he was like, oh no. And the fairy's like, yeah, oh no's right, he wants to see you. And he just like reached out and touched the now NPC, once PC, and he just turned into a tree essentially in the middle of the mountain range. And he was like, you're coming to the Feywild to talk to your patron. And he just turned him into a tree, and then we were able to carry on with the rest of the story with the rest of the party because they were like, well, don't know if Mal's ever coming back, but he's pissed off the Merry Gentleman, and now he's a tree. But that the ability of the page, like the existence of the patron, allowed me to be like, oh, I've got an out here if I need him to.
Once somebody
be removed from the
they're a
campaign.
patron, you can kind of do whatever you want with them. Like having the term patron is like, it's like a title you've earned to be able to kind of do whatever you want with that character. Just be like, he can turn you into trees, and he can back into trees, and he can do whatever he wants with trees.
He's a tree guy. That's his whole shtick. Let's see what we got here. Wabberjack asks, have you ever had a video or idea that you were absolutely 100% certain would take off and it didn't?
Ooh. Not one that I can think of, but there is like this is the trend with, I think, most content creators, where the videos you put a lot of work and effort into, no one will ever see those. Versus like the videos you do in 30 seconds where you're just like, and then you post it. Those are the most successful videos you'll ever post. That's like a general trend. So anything I've ever put effort into, those videos, they just do bad on purpose, I guess, for TikTok.
It's kind of the trend you hear in even in like movie making and stuff. You often hear like big Hollywood stars will say like, it's one for them, one for you, sort of thing. Like you'll do the big studio one that takes, you're like, yeah, I'll do a Marvel movie and it'll bring in the money, and that's the thing that's, But then they go and do like an indie movie. It's like, oh, they're in this tiny little thing about, character development, and it's actually really good in it. Nobody's ever seen it.
No one watched Marriage Story. Millions of people have seen Jumanji too.
Exactly that.
Yeah.
The things that we're actually passionate about.
Yeah. That's how it feels loved.
Wabberjack asks, have you ever had a player that DM'd for genuine surprise or impress you with something that they said or did? So any player that you've DM'd genuinely surprise or impress you with something that they've said or done at the table? Oh,
yeah, most of the time. Yeah, I think I don't know if I've ever played at a table where someone didn't like do something that genuinely surprised me, or I was like, "Oh, that's awesome."
Mm-hmm.
Um, I'm trying to think of one specifically. Like, I think in every campaign, every player has done at least one thing where I was like, "Oh, that was cool. That was really cool. I'm very happy you did that." It's more so that it's like perfectly lined up me to take that shot that I'm like,
Yes.
"Ooh, this is the narrative beat," and I take the
Yes,
shot, and they're
that's
like,
when it's
"Oh
that's when
no!"
it's great that
Oh,
they have no idea what you were setting up, but they've done something. I said, "Can I do this thing?" And you're like, "Fuck yes, you can do this thing." I was trying to find a way to make you do that thing. I was trying
yeah.
to think. I wanted
This
you to do that thing, and I couldn't think of a way to do that without taking away your agency. But you've just volunteered it, so yes, please do it, because it
it's a
lines up
concept I
everything.
like to call player created buttons, where a player
Right.
will conjure a red button for them to immediately press, and I'm just like,
Yeah.
"This is beautiful. I love it." They're like,
Yeah, I
"Can I do
love
this
that
thing?" And
stuff.
I'm like, "Yes, yes,
Yes,
you
you can.
can."
And you go, let me think. Yeah, I think I can allow that. And then,
Yeah, you play the game where it's like, I guess you could
I
try if you wanted
guess.
to. But inside you're like, this is it. This is our moment.
This is how
I
I
love
get this
that.
exposition out, or this is how I get them to
Yeah,
finally
yeah,
meet this character, or whatever. Some of
yeah.
the joy
This
for
is
me
gonna
as a
set
dungeon
up
master is
the
seeing how
next
how
arc.
close they come to not work out something. They're so close to something. You've been sitting on some reveal or some big moment or like a character or something, and then they're barreling towards it. They're having a short rest. They're talking about a campfire. Talking about things. Oh, but didn't that guy say XYZ? And you're like, yes, follow this, go on, follow that. And they're like, they're getting closer, and then they go, wee! And you're like,
The
oh,
clip of
you are
the
so
clip
close.
of you going just like hits hits the fucking front page. There's also a or like not a concept, but there's those moments where players come so close to just like fucking dying, or like they come so close to just like, if you made this decision instead of the one you did, one of you is probably gonna die.
Yeah,
Just straight up. I'm gonna tell you that right now. Just to set the tone for what was gonna go on if you went into that room, you would
yeah,
have died.
yeah.
So there's those moments where they just skirt by. They're like, "Ah, we're not gonna open that door. Let's go back." It's like, oh god, you almost died.
No
Yeah,
idea how
those
close
are
you came
so
to
fun
death.
too.
Yeah, that's fun.
Exactly.
Flixer asks, just joined the stream. Sorry, this has been asked already. Oh, good, Flixer. Wondering, have you got any advice for someone looking to start playing D&D who knows very little about it, except for watching actual play, and have no
Mm,
friends that are interested in playing with them?
sound a lot like me. um, I mean, yeah, you can. There's obviously great community here in this chat that I'm sure. Do you have a Discord? I don't know.
Yep, yep. I got
I don't know
Discord.
if you guys have looking for group sections in
We
there,
don't have
but
a looking for group section because we found that people were coming in and just being like immediate, like not part of the community. We want people to
yeah, yeah,
feel
yeah.
like you're part of the
I
community
get that.
before you've earned that sort of thing. You turn up as a complete stranger and go, I want to play a game with people. You're not going to find many people willing to go, yeah, yeah, I'll
That's very
play a game
fair.
with a complete stranger. Like, show that you're actually interested in the vibe of this community, especially because it kind of goes back to what we're saying about different tables have different vibes, right? You're going to get that
Exactly.
vibe from seeing how you're interacting with other people in the community before you know whether
Yeah.
you get a feel for whether you'd even enjoy a game with that person before you sit down to play with them. My
Very fair.
go-to advice is either join communities, put yourself out there for D&D
Mhm.
spaces. There's Reddit threads, there's subreddits, there's Discords. You can be part of communities for channels that you enjoy and people who are making content you enjoy. You can join their communities and like genuinely engage in the
Make
content in that way,
friends.
make friends through the
Yeah.
community that way. Or you can, if you've got the money for it, you can go to Start Playing, which is or services
That's
like it,
fair.
I'm sure, where you can just like look for an online service that goes, you're a DM and you're looking for players, or you're a player looking for DMs. Here's this
Yeah.
service you can do, and you can find one that works in your time zone. You can do it all online. So there's lots of ways to get into it
Yeah.
that way. There's also your local gaming store. Go to a gaming store, start meeting nerds through board gaming.
That's what I did.
Yeah,
Yeah. My
yeah,
home group that I
likewise.
still play with today, I met just because I went to a game store. I was like, I want to go out and meet people that share my hobbies. I played D&D. I think the book Ghosts of Saltmarsh just came out, and they were doing like an event for people who wanted to see the book, and they just like ran one shots for people that day. I went there. I met three really cool people at that table. We started a home game like the next week.
Nice. Yeah,
So
that's how I met my current friends as well, through Board Game Cafe.
exactly, gotta get out there.
Get out there. Favorite NPC you've created and least favorite.
Oh, favorite is definitely Mal. Okay, so do you know what an oblex is? That big red
Oh yeah, yeah,
ooze that
yeah.
can
Big
like
ooze
when
that
it
can.
kills people,
Is it
it
the one
can
that
reconstitute them.
controls people? Like there's like a. I
Well,
think the
yeah, it
mini
can like
for it has a
reconstitute their
person. Yeah,
body with their
that's right.
memories and
Yeah.
like it's like attached to them. I made that a bartender.
Nice.
Yeah. So there's a bartender in like my main city, the one I was talking about earlier,
Yeah.
where he killed a group of adventurers who had just bought a bar, and they
Yeah.
were so in love with like their dreams of running this bar were so intense that it was just like I'm gonna go run the bar in their place. So now there's just this big fucking ooze in the middle of a bar that's got like these
That's
servers
brilliant.
walking around it.
Is he here?
Yeah.
I think I've got one. I've got a mini of him somewhere. I can't remember if he's.
You got an
If he's here.
oblex?
Yeah, I do.
That's probably my favorite creature. That or
He's,
beholders. Those
yeah.
beholders are unhinged.
I don't see him here, so he must be elsewhere, unfortunately.
Good creature though. I
Yeah, they are
believe it
cool.
was a Make a Wish um, submission. Like it was a charity event where a
Oh
child
right, yeah,
wanted
that
to
does
make
ring a bell
creature.
actually.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and
and it was yeah,
really, really
an
cool
ooze that
creature.
like dissolves people and then can recreate them to look like a regular person. So it's like
Mhm.
doppelganger
But they
adjacent,
smell
and that
like
you're going
sulfur. So this
something's wrong about
little
this guy.
weirdness.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
it's
cool.
awesome. I
Yeah,
love that creature.
I should use them more. I've never really looked into using them all that much, but thought about like there's a whole like plane of ooze in my world that's basically one of the
Mm,
elemental planes, and
nice.
I've considered that they exist, but never really thought about how to use them story wise.
Yeah, it's hard because they don't
Any
have brains or talk.
worst NPCs? Any that you've regretted making? I tried to change over
Worst
time,
than
but
people. I mean,
the players just stick with them or something.
no, it's not like they're bad people, but that's because
Mm,
they're
mm.
supposed to
Yeah,
be
yeah,
bad people. So I've definitely had like terrible people, but I've never had one where I'm like, I shouldn't have made that. Usually, if that happens, I just turn them into a joke
yeah,
because it's pretty easy to flip that switch into, oh, this guy's a dunce. Fuck this guy.
yeah.
Everyone
Fuck
kind
this
of gets
guy.
on board with that, but I don't know if I've ever had one been like, they shouldn't be here. I don't do
Uh,
DNPCs.
That's
That's
the
one thing
no.
I'll
I
say.
try not. I try not to do that. I'll do that if it's a real short, a real small party, like if it's a solo campaign that
Yeah.
I'm running for my nephew or whatever. Like I've got an ongoing game that whenever I see my nephew, it's like just me and him, and so there'll be
That's awesome.
PCs there to keep him from dying. In the
Hmm.
Twitch Tales interactive game that I run, there's a the B team campaign anyway. It was the first
Nice.
time running that, and I was like, that is the first time running this, and it's a hive mind controlling a single character. I'm like really gonna have to be careful about not downing them because there's so many
Yeah.
things that would be inconvenient in a regular game, but outright deadly in a solo game. Like anything that incapacitates you,
Oh,
anything
yeah.
that stuns you, anything that paralyzes, anything that removes your action economy, you're out.
Hmm.
And so I gave them like a giant bee companion that had like an adrenaline sting that if they go down to zero, it can at least sting them and be like, get up.
That's
so,
awesome.
so they've got something there to keep the action economy there.
I love
But
that.
other than that, it's like I'll try to avoid DMPCs as much as possible. Not least because I just
Yeah.
forget that they exist. Like almost
Yeah.
inevitably, if there's anyone that's like journeying with the party for whatever reason, they'll eventually go, wait, where the hell's Kettle's theme? And then she'll be like, oh, yeah, I've been here the whole time. I'm still,
Yeah, it's
yeah,
just,
I guess.
it's not about me. I'm not supposed to be there in the first place. Of course I forgot.
Why did you drag me along? Why did you insist
Yeah.
that I had to be here? Last couple of questions then, and then I'll let you go. Talk Nerdy to Me asks,
Thank you.
is there an NPC that players or fans unexpectedly latched onto and have become their favourite? So sometimes I've created a character that's just like meant to be a throwaway, barely even has a name, and then people are like, oh, he's going to be everything to us now.
That happens a bit too often to me because I think I make even like the bad guys they're fighting a little bit too much, like too likable. And they're like, I don't want to fight this guy. He's kind of fucking fun. So I think the best example is I had a drug dealer in the Noir campaign who the party was like, I hate this guy, but I kind of like him. I kind
Yeah.
of want to be around him more than we currently
I
are. But
want more
can't do that
scenes
because
with
he
him.
has to go to prison. Exactly. He's like, all right, I'm gonna go to jail now.
Can
He
we
just had to
visit
leave.
him in jail? Can we? Has he got visiting
They
hours? Can
did.
we? They did. Nice.
They did. They interrogated him in jail. It was funny.
Yeah, I love that though. I love when my players end up having to have a moment after the bad guy monologues, and then they go, "He's kind of got a point though, right?" Like when they're
Yeah.
like, "What? He's no, he's we're definitely gonna take him down, but like." I can see why
I'm
I can see where he's coming from.
Mine's a little bit different because they usually don't have a point. They're just really stupid to the point of like kind of being charming because they're kind of harmless. Yeah, because I'm not that smart, but I am. I just make them funny, and they're like, "Fuck off."
Damn it!
I kind of like him now.
God, the guy's an asshole, but he's fun to be around.
Yeah, I
want to drink. Yeah, I want to drink at the tavern with him, but he's also trying to
Yeah.
take over the world, so I kind of got to put a stop to that first.
Exactly.
Last question then from Weberjack was regarding being surprised by a player. I figure the answer is almost always yes, constantly. so I'll reword it. Can you tell us a story of a moment that surprised you that sticks out? We love those.
I can. Yes, because as soon as we moved on, I immediately had like a Vietnam flashback of a moment where a player caught me totally off guard and fucked everything up for me.
Yeah.
I never in my life expected a human being to prepare the spell Earthbind. And one time I had like this really powerful like prison warden type guy flying towards a party, and from a distance one of the players was like, "Oh, I Earthbind him," and I was like,
Boom.
"That's a strength save."
Yeah.
Oh fuck. Yeah, it was one of those like all around me.
Starts to slowly
It's like the screen turned black,
slowly
and the
going
world
grey and
slowed
white.
down.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's
and
fucked.
that was one of the most, because they're like an incredibly smart player. They always seem to like have a plan, even though they didn't know what was happening. They'd come
They're just
prepared.
contingencies.
And this one spell that I never thought in a million years would ever show up in my game literally screwed an entire encounter,
Yeah.
and they just got to basically walk away from a situation. I was like, fuck.
The only time I've seen it used in one of my games in like nearly 10 years of playing now is when they knew that they were going to be fighting a green dragon, because it was like an ambushed thing. They were like, all right, so this treetop forest of elves village is like harassed by this green dragon who keeps coming back every week to demand fealty or whatever. They know he's going to be coming back on this day. We need to take him out. So they prepared for it, and they were like, cool, I can prepare the spell Earthbind to hold him down to the ground as soon as he lands something. But yeah, without knowing you're going to be fighting something flying, I don't see anybody taking it, because it's such a niche, such a niche
no
thing.
idea they would be flying. I was so stunned.
Even when you do know you're going to be fighting something flying, the fact it's a strength save makes it go like, well, I'm not going to hold a dragon down so I'm not going to like so many flying creatures like griffins. They've got massive strength. Hippogriffs, they've got massive strength. Like, what am I holding down with
wizard.
the flying?
Hang on now.
Yeah,
Wizard
maybe if the
doesn't have
wizard
high
casts
strength.
spell, then we bam wham take him down.
So fucking bad. So funny.
I do love moments where I have to pause to go, oh, wait a minute, let's see how this works out then, because you can do that, and this changes everything. Sometimes there are things that you're like, this was intended to be a big fight for the next 2 hours in game, and you've just taken it out in a single. One of the earliest ones was a monk character. They were fighting a minotaur in the sewers, and it was like a big guy, and he was meant to like cause him some serious damage. The monk went first, as of course she does, with a crazy, ridiculous height. She runs over, connects with a stunning strike, immediately connects. She's an open hand monk, so every time she connects, she can make him make a strength save against being knocked prone or whatever. So she goes, bam, he's both stunned and prone. Bam, 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 bam. Fighter runs up. Bam, 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 bam. Just fucked up this minotaur in like 2 rounds, in like a round, two turns.
There are players who exist for the moment of their DM going, There are players whose literal job it is to be that person at every table, and it's a nightmare when you find that person who's like, they planned for it. They planned to be like, I got you, and you didn't expect it. And I'm like, you're right, I didn't.
Which is why I think it's important. Go back to what we were saying about like fudging and like the rules, the sort of tools that you have as a DM. I think that's why it's important to have played a lot and get some experience before you start to fuck around with with changing things on the fly too much, because those moments are epic and people will remember them forever, and they love those stories, even though it screwed up your bad guy. It can be really epic to allow them to steamroll somebody who was meant to be a big boss. But I think with the experience comes knowing when it's going to be satisfying for them and when it's not. Once you played with a particular group of players, often this was a mini boss that was a minotaur in the dungeon who was meant to take out a bunch of resources, but they weren't really going to learn much. It was going to be a fun sort of slog back and forth, but ultimately it wasn't going to be much. I'll allow them to just, well done, you steamroll through them and you kill them in two turns. You go up against the monk's evil mentor that betrayed them and killed their family and stuff, and you kill that guy in 2 turns. Story wise, if you know your players well enough, you know whether they're going to enjoy that or not. Most often, in my experience, most people are going to be like, oh, we've kind of been hyping this guy up for 17 sessions now. We've been preparing for this fight, and we killed him in 1 because the DM wasn't prepared enough or whatever. And so then you go, and he has a second phase or whatever.
He's a demon also.
He's also the other things going, yeah. And they're like, no, we saw it. We saw it coming. That was obvious. You're like, well, I fucking didn't.
Yeah, well, good on you for picking up all the clues I left. I gotta get out of here. It's getting hot in this room.
Yeah. Recently, in one of the Twitch Tales game I ran for the Christmas special, they were out in a snowstorm looking for an NPC, and they were losing. And they said, the people in chat decided to call out to the snow, please, I would do anything to get them back. And I happened to know that there was someone listening
Santa.
to them for reasons. And I went, oh, you call out that you would do anything to get them? Okay. Give me a second. And I had to look up some things and go, okay, what would they... All right, cool. Yeah, that happens. You made choices there, and something answers. You call out to the ether for desperate help, and something hears that desperation and answers. Good luck with that. And then, like
your prime sub. What?
yeah.
The voice demands your prime.
The patron is Jeff Bezos, and in order to get any sort of spells from him in your Twitch Tales game, you have to give me subs.
That's awesome. But they don't know what it is, because I'm seeing a lot of people in
they
chat
don't know what it is.
know.
No, they don't know what it is.
They
something answered, and then a giant tarantula sort of thing crawled out of a crack in the wall, which in a snowy Arctic terrain where they never should have existed, they know that this spider shouldn't have existed there, but it crawled out and spoke to them telepathically and went, anything you say? And they were like, yeah. And then they saw a gossamer spiderweb thread leading from their chest to exactly where the person was that they were looking for, and they managed to find them and save them. Probably fine.
That's always fine. I wouldn't worry about that, guys.
Exactly.
No, those Santa spiders.
You know, Dasher and Dancer, and Longlegs and Vixen.
Yeah, and Silky.
All right. Well, that's the end of the questions and all the time we have. This has been an absolute delight, Mr. Shickadance. Thank you for joining me. Where can people find you and your stuff? Plug yourself away.
I believe the link tree is somewhere located on your screen right now, but I am on TikTok, Instagram, Twitch. Those are most of the places I go on. I don't venture onto Twitter anymore because that's a hellscape. I'm occasionally on Threads, but I'm mostly talking about America stuff on there, so if you don't want to see that, I understand. There's a lot of fucking garbage going on here. But yeah, I post most of my silly content on Instagram and TikTok if you want to follow me there. Appreciate
Hell
it.
yeah.
Appreciate your time.
If you're here from Mr. Shickadance community, and this is your first time watching one of my streams, I'm Robert Hartley Jr. You can see my name on the stream. I do Dungeons & Dragons content for a living as well. I'd love to see you around the community. Is there anyone on Twitch that you would like to raid? I always give it to my guests the chance to raid into somebody, if there is somebody.
Double check if anyone's live. I don't think I know anyone who's live right now. I don't know. All my friends are not online right now because I think they streamed earlier in the day. So start to whoever you'd like. Dealer's choice.
Yeah, fair enough. Then we will raid into. Let's go into Rowan. Yeah. He's online. So.
Nice.
At the end of this short rest, as we got back our key points and warlock spell slots,
one spell slot.
what are we setting off to? What's the next part of the quest?
Find that damn rogue.
We got to find off the rogue. I think we go off to find the rogue. I think the warlock casts detect person or locate person or whatever the spell is to be like, oh, he's whatever miles ahead, and we go off and find the rogue, and then once we catch up to him, we use the spell slot to have to find you, man. Rest. So we just need to gotta take another rest before we do this.
I gotta take a nap. I just found this guy.
It took us ages to find you, man. I had to use a key point to double dash to jump over a ditch to get to you.
Yeah. we chain him to a tree, take a nap, and then we go.
and then we set off after that. Well, thank you very much for joining us, then. This has been a delight. Thank you guys for joining in the chat as well. Thank you for your support, and stick around for the raid. I'll see you in the next stream. Bye for now.
Bye, everybody.
And as the characters snuff out the campfire, refill their water skins, and continue on their adventure, they remember to like and subscribe on their way out.